Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the podcast on a Saturday night with Jay over there in the control booth. Obviously, snake talk. We're going to talk about reptiles. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Answering your super chats. I see there's already a couple super chats in there, so if you have questions, just go ahead, drop those in the super chat. We'll be happy to answer them for you. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you guys. It's been a very hectic day for me.
Yeah.
I mean, been kind of crazy, very chaotic the last hour or so since we've been open at the Reptarium. A lot of craziness kind of happening, and just very normally by time I go onto the podcast, I'm like chill and I'm like, all right, things are getting better, let's have a good fun time. And literally up until minutes before I sat down, it was just chaos. So hopefully things are going to go okay upstairs.
I think it'll be okay.
When I'm down here, I hope I'm not going to get like interrupted, like, hey, guess what? Because literally we have two sumps at the Reptarium, one for the fish spa and one for the alligator tank, one of our alligator tanks. And both sumps don't seem to be operating the way they're supposed to. And just found out that the alligator, as I literally minutes before we got on here, I was upstairs and it looked like the pump was, it's gravity fed water, right? And it looked like the sump was actually filling and the actual tank was draining. That normally tells me that the pump isn't working, but I had to go on the podcast, so let's hope that there's not a water disaster,
flood upstairs,
disaster when we go. So, but anyways, that's part of keeping animals. Anyone that's kept fish tanks or reptiles at home, things go wrong, things go crazy.
Part of owning your own business too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
also
constantly doing stuff,
Yeah. So it's definitely very hectic. Few moments before the podcast, so I'm hoping that as the podcast goes on and we're talking and I'm taking your guys' questions and hanging out with you guys, that I'll chill out a little bit and get a little bit more zen. So I apologize for the manicness in the initial start of the podcast. But what do we have here?
So Silver Cash says he's not able to make it tonight. He's got to be slinging some pizza and scrubbing tubs all day. I'll watch when I get off work tonight. And also he got his Bella coffee mug yesterday and he's been enjoying it all day. Have an awesome night and appreciate you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Silver Cash seems to always be doing the pizza thing on Saturday night. So we catch him on Wednesdays and Fridays typically, but on Saturday nights he's off, so that's cool. Hey, V-Dog, what's up, man?
V-Dog says, how's Taz doing?
I mean, it's definitely stressful. I mean, it's so for those of you who don't know, Taz is my blue tegu, and they often brumate. Well, almost always they brumate, to be honest with you. They go off of food during the winter months, even down in Florida, the native ones, and as well as people that keep them know that that's kind of how they go about it. And Taz has done that every year since he's been with me, and I've had him since he was young. And this is the first year that he came towards the end of the brumation, this is normally when he would start feeding again, right around this time. And he rapidly lost weight the last couple weeks, and that was something that had never happened before. It looked fine all that brumation. He looked fine, looked good, plump, big fat tail, and just literally within the last couple weeks, he's like shriveled up, and his tail is bad. He's kind of got a lot of loss of a lot of weight, and we started to tube feed him. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Sure.
That's all I have to say. It's something I've never dealt with before, and it's a tough thing. So I'll keep you guys posted, but definitely on the concern side for this one.
Seth says, hey, Brian, it's Seth from Buffalo.
Hey, Seth.
Are you familiar with Ogle Bay Zoo in West Virginia? They have encounters and was wondering if you know anything about them and if they are good business to support.
I've never heard of them before.
Neither.
I don't know anything about them at all. So unfortunately, there's so many private zoos around the country, and it's I mean, anyone that's doing good work, educational, conservation, taking care of their animals properly, I think you should support them. I mean, I think that supporting the smaller places like that is so important, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, obviously here at the Reptarium, we get tremendous amounts of support with people, and it's we couldn't do this if it wasn't for that, and just again spending close to an hour upstairs before the podcast, just seeing all those people coming in, and what's interesting, Jay, this, when we first opened up, we were primarily adult. I mean, it was almost, you'd see some kids.
Yeah, boyfriend, girlfend, husband, wife, stuff like that.
Yeah. Or reptile,
friends,
whatever.
A crew of people.
Now it's gotten to the point where we're like, 99% families.
Family destination. Yeah, it's really cool.
As a matter of fact, I was talking to a guy upstairs, 10 minutes or so after we came. And this is the first time he brought his family, had some kids that looked like they were maybe 4 to 6-ish, in that range. And he had said that. He said, gosh, he goes, I live 2 miles down the street and never heard of you guys before up until about 2 months ago. And he said, and every time I go online or I go anywhere, people are talking about the Reptarium.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he said, so I had to come check it out. And I actually saw him. They were leaving just before I came downstairs for the podcast. And he was like, oh my God, this place was so amazing. The kids had a great time. We'll be back for sure. So it's interesting. So my point is that support your local zoos, support your local small zoos, private zoos in particular, because those are the ones that are the most difficult. Typically big zoos, the AZA, which is American Zoological Association zoos, are oftentimes funded at least some by the city. Like here in Detroit, there's actually a millage that is so they get taxes.
Right.
And in particular, this last year for all zoos, private zoos, big zoos, everything has been very damaging because the revenue streams have been cut so dramatically. But the smaller zoos are probably harder to absorb because they don't have big endowments, they don't have tax deferments, they don't have tax kickbacks from the city. And so it becomes very difficult. You're talking about, I remember talking to my buddy from the Columbus Zoo, and he had told me that they were doing on an average day, they would do about 40,000 people last summer, and they were capped at 1,500 people. That was the most they could do in the day.
Oh, wow,
so from 40,000 to 1,500.
I mean, it's negligible. Just stay closed almost at that point.
At that point, it's almost not worth it. But again, they've got to take care of the animals, whether it's open or closed. So they still have to pay all their zookeepers. They still have to pay everybody. So, but again, they're a big zoo, and they have a lot of funding behind them. Whereas the little guy, like maybe the zoo that you're talking about, might just be someone's passion like mine that opens a zoo, and if you don't support them,
they can't do what they want.
They can't do them, and it's not the zoo's fault or anyone's fault what happened this last year. So again, I don't know specifically that particular zoo, but I am a big proponent, and I don't just say that because I own a private zoo. I've been supporting private zoos forever, my whole life. So I've always done it. So I do appreciate them tremendously.
Clistia says, hello, Brian and Jay. Much love.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Podcast.
Cody says, hell yeah, snake talk.
Snake talk, yeah, that's cool. And it's an interesting time. We actually, you'll see in the vlogs coming up, we're just around the corner from snake eggs. I mean, literally, our first clutches of like Anteracia children, spotted children should be here anytime. Ball pythons, we're about 2 weeks away from ball python
so exciting
eggs, so that's good, and it's looking like a really good year. I mean, I say this kind of like with some hesitance.
Okay.
I've been breeding ball pythons since I was 18 years old, right? Well, say 19 because I don't know that I produced when I was 18. I've been keeping ball pythons since I was 15, but I think it was probably 18, 19 when I produced my first clutch of ball pythons.
Right.
I can honestly say that the last 2 years,
I know.
I feel like I've really figured it out. Like, I mean, to the point where, like, it's like I feel dialed in. I mean, dialed in. So interestingly enough, for several years, I stopped breeding ball pythons personally. I might have switched some males out. I might have been involved a little bit, but I pretty much left it up to Kelsey for a while. And then, of course, early part of last year, Mary bred, and she did. They both did tremendously good. But then I took over pretty early in the breeding season last year. I'd say midway. I would say maybe a little bit closer to midway. And really, had a tremendous year. Certainly, I attribute the beginning of the year to Mary's, helping me for sure. This year, I was solo the whole year, doing it from start to finish. And man, I tell you what, it's been enjoyable to really connect with that colony of animals and understand the triggers to make things happen. And it's been really fun to see them go from 8 to 10 millimeter follicles to now 30 millimeter follicles and almost across the board. I mean, you're going to always have some animals that are just finicky or they don't do what you want them to do.
Yeah, of course.
But as long as you can get the food to them at the right time, get the males in at the right time, and sometimes getting the males in at the right time causes them to have higher percentage of copulation, which causes more follicle growth, which causes increased appetite until a certain point, and so it's this interesting cycle of
dance. Right?
Yeah, it really is a dance, and this is where I say art meets science so much, because the science is follicle growth. the science is how many times you can copulate.
How do you get there, though, right?
But yeah, it's all this interesting dance of like, exactly when to put your males in, when you want to see copulations, when those copulations turn into food response, how often do you feed during those food response, how much you feed during that food response,
right,
to ultimately get follicle growth that causes copulation, that ultimately causes ovulation, egg laying. And it's been an interesting thing. And although, I've been doing it forever and I've kind of dissected, this is the first 2 years that I've really enjoyed it, and it's been really, really. I mean, I've always enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
No, but now you're in the zone, and it's funny because it really does show that like 10,000 hours to master thing, right? Where it's like anyone can get pretty good at doing anything, whether it's playing an instrument or breeding ball pythons. You'll get pretty good within a 2-year period.
Yeah.
But to be a master, it does take 30 years, you know, like to get really that crazy good.
No, I think you're right. And like I said, I was literally downstairs this morning because I was here super early this morning, a couple hours before everyone else. And I was just going through ball pythons by myself and doing, feeding, ultrasounding, switching some males and stuff like that. And really just spending some Zen time alone with the animals. And it really did. I was thinking about this, like I could go work for any ball python collection right now and probably 25-30% their production, better.
Oh my God, for sure.
Just because, like you said, it really has been. It's amazing that it's taking me all these years. I've been good at breeding snakes, but like to really understand and lock in the mechanism and there really is, and 2 years doesn't make I don't think, but I really believe I could keep this up for the next 10 years. I think that now I've found the triggers that really are important. And I found like when to hit the animals with food, when to hit the animals with copulation, when to hit, and as long as I follow this very stringent pattern, it seems to be unbelievably successful. And I've seen some animals just recently go from very small follicle growth, 13, 15 millimeters to 30 millimeters within 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy.
Just implementing these kind of tactics that I've done. So it's been an interesting experience, and it's one that that I've enjoyed a lot, and it's like, I've talked about that we're going to probably downsize, and ball pythons will probably be one of the groups that we do downsize in. But it's number one, it's not happening right now. I'm not selling snakes tomorrow. I may not sell snakes even all year. I'm not sure yet. There's still a lot of things we have to consider. But we'll still have a decent ball python group, and I'll still be very intricately involved in, from now on, breeding those ball pythons. And whether right now we're breeding about 180 females, maybe next year there'll be 100 females.
Right,
right. But I think I'll still have the same success rate percentage-wise at those 100 females as I do with the 180. Now, probably more because I can even, really
now
spend
more
focus on the 100 females or whatever the female rate is. So it's been fun.
I have a question too. So you talk a lot about barometric pressure, storm fronts. Now, do you think on years that there's more storms, right? Like this year, we probably had more winter storms than we did last year. Yeah. Do you think that would cause any increase in like breeding as a whole? Like, do you think you'd have a better year, with more breeding too?
I think a little bit. I think what it really comes down to is it helps you get. So when you do see a female at 15 millimeter follicles, you really need to get a copulation pretty quickly within, say, a 2-week window of 15 millimeters. And if for some reason you can't find a male that wants to breed that female, oftentimes she'll start to suck her follicles back up. So with weather patterns, low pressure fronts coming through, you have a better chance of getting that female bred in 2 weeks.
Got it. Makes sense.
But what happens is that as you start getting further into the season and females are at 20, 25, 30, then you can breed in high pressure. And the males just are dialed in. The males are dialed in, big time. They want to breed because there's so many pheromones getting released by those females at 20, 25, and 30 millimeters. Then the weather fronts don't matter as much. This last week, I put males in twice during very clear days that were high pressure days, and had tremendous. I think I had the one day I had like 34 females in, and we had 27 lockups.
That's
that
crazy.
day. So as it goes on, but in the beginning, I think it does help.
That is really cool.
Help, yeah.
Rob asks or says, taking the wife and kids on a road trip to take a tour there. I'd like Brian to do the tour. Is that something you still are handling? Yeah. Been watching for a decade now. Time flies. See you guys soon.
Well, thank you so much. And we do offer what we call Brian tours, so they're specifically for me. The rest of the tours are Jay. I usually, if I'm in town, which is most of the time these days, I am going out of town in a little bit in a couple weeks. But Normally, if I'm in town, I'll pop into every tour just to say hi, stuff like that. But if you want a tour specifically by me, you can book a specific Brian tour. Jay is doing them, and we just actually have hired a new animal educator as well. So we now will have 2 animal educators on staff full time. As well as myself, so the 3 of us will do tours. And that's just because the events are increasing, and our anticipation for hopefully schools opening up this fall, and hopefully this summer, more summer camps and camps that are going to be able for us to go to. We want to gear up. I mean, I'd say in the Reptarium, the one part of the business that I'm the most excited about is the outreach educational part. It's something we started focusing on more just pre-COVID. And then, of course, COVID happened, and it pretty much destroyed that, and for 4 months, we didn't do any tours, and even in-person tours. And then since we've been open since June, we've been able to do in-person tours, and that has increased exponentially to the point now where it's like almost hard to keep up. I mean, we had to bring on another educator just because Jay and I can't keep up.
Yeah, steamed out.
And, I mean, today was a perfect example. We literally had a tour at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So I mean, every single hour we had a tour from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock when we opened up. So, and to be totally honest with you, my goal is I'd really like to have 3 animal educators on staff, this summer. So yeah, but we absolutely can do tours.
Lisa says, "Hey, Brian and Jay, hope you're having a great week. We already went over it. She asks, how's Taz doing? Sending love from far away. Thanks for all you do."
Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on Taz. I mean, it's one of those things where, my experience with reptiles tells me that the end result's not going to be pretty, if you ask me. But I hope that, we'll just see what happens.
Brassman Reptiles, our boy Jeremy in the house.
Man? What's up, dude?
He says, just popping in to say hi, guys. Gotta get back to work. Yeah, get back to work, dude.
Get back to work,
Jeremy. You do it on your phone.
Yeah, come on, man.
Nah, we love you, brother.
No, yeah, can't wait to see you again, dude, man. Can't wait to have you out here, us come out to you, whatever.
I think he was just at Will and Summers' place, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw him down in Florida, so
that's awesome.
I saw that.
Simple Man, our boy says, hope you are all having a great night. Can't catch the podcast tonight. I'm out fishing. See you guys on the next one.
Wow, there you go. Simple Man and
Silver
Cash both out for the night. So
have a life.
So
what the heck is
come
that?
on, man. Let's
gotta
have some other people step it up.
Yeah, V-Dog says, if you put 4 snakes in with your female, is there a chance she will have the genes of all 4 snakes?
Okay, so yes and no. And what I mean by that is if you bred 1 female to 4 males, is it possible if she had 4 eggs or 8 eggs or 6 eggs or whatever, how many eggs she has, is it possible that all 4 males could father the clutch? 100% possible. But each egg will only be fathered by 1 father.
Yes.
So you will not have an egg that has all 4 sperm in it, So you could definitely have all 4. It's very unlikely that 4 males would father a clutch, but it's very common for 2 males to father a clutch. I mean, we have it happen. Yeah, we have it happen all the time. We'll throw a male. Let's say we have, we want that one last breeding, and we'll throw like a really good male in the last time. A lot of times he fathers at least a couple eggs of the clutch.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like 1 out of every 5 of the dual fathers are usually dual fathered.
Yeah, so dual fathering is very probable. 4, I've never had 4. I've never even had 3. But then again, I've never tried to breed 3 different males. I always just breed 2 males.
Right.
If I tried to breed 3 or 4 males, maybe I would have that. But yeah, certainly. But you got to remember, 1 sperm can only fertilize 1 egg. They're not multiple sperms. So yeah.
Skittle Bunny says 19-day-old ground boas aren't eating yet. Any advice?
Yeah. Well, congratulations that you had them. Obviously, that's a feat in itself. I mean, the only thing that you can really do besides assist feed, which assist feeds will work, it takes time and it's a lot of patience with little Candoia. But if you can get house geckos, little Mediterranean house geckos, they're like maybe $3, something like that, $2.50, $3, where depending on where you find them. That is a way to get them to start to eat. And oftentimes, if you get 1 or 2 meals into them, and then maybe take a house gecko and scent a pinky after 1 or 2 meals of feeding house geckos, because that's what they eat in the wild. Not Mediterranean house geckos, obviously, because they're Indonesian, but Indonesian house geckos, but you just can't get those. You could often switch them after that. give them a couple house geckos.
Get some calories in.
Get some calories in, some growth in. Then you scent a pinky, and hopefully you can get going. But they're a challenge. I mean, they're a really cool snake to own, and a cool snake to mess with. But they are a challenge. I mean, viper boas are the same way. Viper boas, Candoia bibroni, all those are, the Carinata bibroni, all those are Paulsoni. They're all very, very difficult to get going when they're babies, unfortunately. It's the downside of working with them.
Caleb says, hey, wanted to say you guys are both inspirational and amazing. I hope to visit soon. People here in Florida are reckless with Corona, and we hope to move to Utica just because of you guys. Stay awesome.
That's the only thing that's got me a little bit
unsure
about our trip to Florida.
Yeah,
to be totally honest
hey,
with
listen,
you.
I have the same feelings. I understand.
I want to go down there really bad, and we're planning on going down there this month. But I do have a little bit concerned about the lack of
Fox?
Listen, this is the thing. It's like you're either on one side or the other, right? Usually it's like there's very few people that are in the middle on this. They're either like it's a joke and this is all a lie, or everyone's going to die and this is going to, and I think right now we're getting into a weird, maybe we are getting into a gray area where people that were thinking that it was really super serious are now lightening up a little bit. And I've been pretty strict on it, not that I'm concerned that, if I get it, I'm going to die. But I think that, I want to be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
That's where I'm at,
And Florida is, let's put this, if we go to Florida, I guarantee you most of the time we're not going to have a mask around people.
Right.
And I know that, those people that we're going to be around that don't have a mask have been around a lot of people that don't have masks. And so it does get a little bit scary about doing a trip to Florida right now. And that's the only thing that's got me a little bit tweaked. Like I think we are going to go. I'm pretty committed to going. But at the same time, part of me is like, do we wait another month to when
vaxxed up?
Now we're probably vaccinated at least, because I think that in the next, I don't think in March I'm going to get vaccinated, but I think that in April we will get vaccinated. And part of me is like, do we wait till that time or do we just throw caution to the wind? I really love Florida and I really want to get around down there, and I need a trip away. And I know Jay has family.
But I just want you to know, like, I am on the same wavelength as you too. Like I've had the same thoughts before. And the thing is, right, like with the gray area or whatever, I just look at it as like, if I'm wrong, but I'm wearing a mask, that I'm just still wearing a mask, whatever. That's not that big a deal.
Right.
But if I'm wrong not wearing a mask, then people can die. Like that just seems like I'll just wear the mask. It's not a big deal.
It's a tough thing. And even so, I mean, like the CDC just lightened up the rules on visiting long-term care health. You have to have a COVID test within 48 hours. But, I've only seen my mom a handful of times in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And it's always been with a mask on, and I can't go visit her. It's I can't. They won't let me in her she lives in a senior apartment. And I can't go there. The only time I've seen her is when I've taken her to a doctor. And all of a sudden now we can see her, I just have to get a COVID test, which is fine. I don't mind. And I can see her, not right today, but within the next week or so.
That's awesome.
And I'm thinking like, do I want to jeopardize all that? And it's like, it's a tough thing. So I hear you about Florida. I love you guys down in Florida, but Florida, Texas, a couple other states are really going crazy right now. And I just don't want to, listen, we're close, people. We're close to,
and every day it's closer, and like you see it every day more and more, where it's like people are talking about like, oh, as the country starts to open up and blah blah blah, and it's like that's huge, man. Like it would be stupid to ruin it at the end.
Yeah, right now, if you again, I don't want to get into COVID talk. We're going to leave this in a second here, but if you look at the way that the trend, we were in this really steep decline, and now we've plateaued. And if you look back on when that's happened before,
last year,
we usually after a plateau we start to spike again.
Yep.
Now with vaccinations and all the other stuff, I think we're in better shape. But there's obviously variants and stuff like that could cause this. So I'm just a little worried about the fact that I just want this to be over, people. I want this to go back. I want to hug you. I want to I want to smack your butt. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that. But you know what I mean. I want to be close to people and
shake your hand, give you love.
Shake your hands.
I feel you.
I mean, it's so funny in the Reptarium. People come up to me all the time. Of course, we're masked up everywhere, in the Reptarium. And like someone will come and go, man, I'm just so happy to meet you. And you could tell they want to shake my hand.
But they're like awkward about it. They're like, does he want me to shake it? Yeah.
I put my hand out there. And so I just want to get on the other side of this. And if that means struggling for another few months, I'm okay with that.
Me too.
Know? So anyways, that's it for the sea talk.
All right. EB says, I just bought a 2018 corn from Will Banks Reptiles, but it seems a little small for 2018. He was being fed rat pinkies, and he looks healthy, but could they have been feeding too small of feeders the last couple of years? Question mark.
I mean, a 2018 that's eating rat pups is a little bit small, no doubt about it. And that could just be the case. Maybe they were just feeding it, not feeding it enough, or large enough meals.
Yeah.
But the good news is that if it looks healthy and it's eating well for you, it's going to be fine, And Will Banks is that whole company is a great company, great people. They know what they're doing.
Clean, beautiful facility.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be concerned about the animal, and that happens. I mean, it happens. We see that all the time here, where someone will bring us an animal that is, a 3-year-old animal, looks like a yearling. It looks completely healthy. It just grow at a different pace than what we would have fed stuff. So these things can happen. And the good news is also that if it looks good and it's eating well, it's going to grow quick.
Yeah.
And usually when an animal's being fed a little bit more modestly, when then you start feeding it more regularly, it grows quicker. And it'll catch up to, say, a sibling that's been fed a little bit more aggressive.
Well, that's interesting.
So yeah, so I wouldn't be concerned at all, especially because those guys are great.
Marcel says, Brian, Red Xanthics and Lories are the same. Just kidding. Love and respect you guys. I've tamed Niles to Crocodile monitors. Working on my new lace monitors. How is Beetlejuice?
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's quite a list.
And I love that he was doing that.
I do too, man.
I'm sure that created a little buzz, because I attacked Corey a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's, whatever. But I don't give a shit about the drama. I'm not trying to create drama. I'm just
telling you it's not
just telling
the same
you the
thing.
truth. I'm just telling you the truth. That being said, I love the fact that Noah has really developed an interest in monitors.
Oh, dude, I love it too. And I told him that the other day. I'm like, dude, when you're hyped with animals, makes me hype, bro. Like, I love that.
So I mean, Artemis is literally a different animal since Noah. Like, I haven't seen Artemis act like Artemis is now for 2 years.
Yeah, I agree.
So Noah's put a tremendous amount of energy into Artemis Prime or Argus Monitor, or Artemis's Prime, I should say.
Yeah.
And now he's interested in Beetlejuice. So he's starting to work with Beetlejuice a little bit, and I think that's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good because he's got patience. And listen, when you're only working with maybe 2 or 3 animals, you can really spend a lot of time. We're working with so many animals, we can only do so much with Beetlejuice. Then we got to move on to the next animal and the next animal. So I love that Noah's taken an interest, and I talked to Noah, I think it was last night or the night before, we were talking about what he should do and how he should do things. And so
that's badass, dude. You must be so hyped, bro. Like, I could only imagine as a dad who's been into reptiles, and like your son comes home and is like, so what should I do with Artemis? You're like, oh my God, man, I've been waiting my whole life to hear
No, it
that.
is really cool to see him jazzed about stuff. And so I think Beetlejuice is doing really well. And I think that if
cool.
Noah was spending time with them, he'll do better quicker.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That'll be really good.
Little Bogus, first official day of spring break. Happy to kick it off with you guys.
There you go.
Happy spring break, Bogus.
It's really a weird thing, right? Because spring break is typically super busy for us here at the Reptarium, but there's not a normal spring break this
it's
year.
Been spring break for a year and a half.
It's been spring break since last March, and so we haven't seen the influx. I mean, we've been super busy. We're sold out.
Yeah,
we've
been busy regardless.
We've been busy for months and months, and when you look out at the calendar, we're busy for the next 2 or 3 months as well. And really, zoos like ours get busier in the summertime. So I think we're gonna have a really banger, next, say, 6 months or something like that. But I've heard a bunch of people say, yeah, spring break. And I'm like, spring break from what?
Yeah. From
break? I guess from like,
yeah.
not being on a computer 4 hours or 6 hours a day. So listen, enjoy your spring break.
Yeah, and Bogus is a teacher for 8th graders, so she needs it.
Oh,
she
you
needs it.
really
yeah,
need
that,
it,
and
man.
imagine.
Now that is a really spring break right there.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for teachers because to try to keep kids captivated for 6 hours, 7 hours a day or whatever online, it had to have been a nightmare.
And if I'm not mistaken, she does in school and out school at the same time.
A lot of schools are doing that now, where it's a hybrid thing where, you're teaching almost 2 courses. You're almost teaching 2 times. Right. You're almost doing double the work as a teacher.
Yeah, for the same pay.
Yeah,
that was already half of what you should be getting.
Right, yeah. I mean, that teachers have really taken it to the but it's interesting. I hope that we can get everyone in school, and I hope that, I don't know how teachers weren't high on the list of vaccinations from the very start.
Oh, that should have been the
like
first.
Every teacher should have gotten vaccinated right off the rip, because
worry about our future
and
kids.
get the kids back in class, So
I agree. Solus Honky threw $1.50 for love. And Solus, what are you doing? You're not putting a message, bro?
I know, right, man?
Yeah, we miss you, and you just come in here and drop dollars like we're strippers or something.
Yeah, what do you think? You gonna get a nipple or something like that? Come on, now.
Because you got to throw a couple more dollars for a nipple.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Did Noah last night follow my suggestion?
Which one?
And to tell people like
I don't think so. No, he didn't. But we did do a freestyle. But he didn't do what you said. No.
MJ just texted me, said, "Why are you talking smack, you boner?"
When did you talk smack about him?
I'm going to look on my thing right here and see what it says. It says Corey Woods Reptiles. So it was about Corey. So obviously Corey was on Trap Session with MJ, and obviously they must be talking smack back and forth about things. I don't give a shit.
Hell no,
I really don't care. I
don't
care. I don't care what Corey thinks of me. I don't care at all. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to say Lori's and Reddy's antics are the same thing, then go ahead and say it.
You're wrong.
You're
But that's
wrong.
fine.
Anyone that works with both of them will tell you you're wrong. But if you want to, try to, puff your chest up, go at it, big boy.
Ooh. Joseph says, "Hey Brian, sending love from Dallas, Texas. My 3-year-old son loves your videos. Thank you for all your inspiration and education you spread about these beautiful animals. Love the vlog and the podcast. Yee."
Yee. All right, man. There we go. Get some Logan Paul in the house. Thank you so much. Seriously, I appreciate you beyond belief.
Let Roses Burn says, "No,
what's up, girl?
Internet construction on my house and then messed up my cable. I have no bandwidth left on my phone."
Let Roses Burn, we're gonna miss you. Get your stuff fixed. Quick.
Get your shit together.
Look at all our big dogs, man. We got Simple Man.
I know. All of our heavy hitters.
Yeah,
are
it's like everyone's just burned out on us. So.
No, they can't even get internet. In their house right
Oh my
now.
gosh, man, life is tough, man.
Sixpence.
That is first world problems right there, man.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Get the internet.
How am I supposed to send super
How am I
chats?
supposed to send super chats without the internet? Oh my gosh! Actually, you know that my our new place.
Yeah.
Doesn't have hardly any reception.
That's good.
It is good.
Yeah,
but
I honestly don't get better reception.
Yeah, so when there's no choice. I mean, I can get internet there, but even the internet is a little shoddy.
Good.
But when I go to this place, which is just a little summer home that we have, literally most of the property has zero reception.
Oh, that's my favorite thing I've heard all day.
Like literally zero reception. So I'm going to be out of pocket.
We're forcing you to go off the grid, dude. Fuck that.
That's the whole point, is that when I get to this place, it's just a really chill. It's not far, a couple hours away from home, so we can go as often as we possibly can and just kind of chill out. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I won't be sitting by the lake.
I'm so excited, bro.
Not going to be sitting by the lake on Instagram. That's for damn sure. So.
No, you have all week to do that. You do it. You do it here.
Probably the best thing. It's gonna teach me to because I mean, I don't know how you guys are, but literally like when I like don't have my phone on me, I like panic. Like, I mean, if I touch my pocket and my phone isn't in my pocket, even if say I'm like at my house,
right,
and I'm literally just on my phone, and I set it down. 5 minutes later, it's not in my pocket. It's like it might as well be on the moon.
Yeah.
Because I think it's lost forever. I'm like,
shit.
It's got to be gone. The phone's got to be gone.
Yeah.
It can't be.
It's
here.
like right next to you.
And I find it 3 seconds later, and it's like, oh, life is back to good again.
Yeah. That happens to me quite a bit too, because like I'll go put it in a different pocket than I normally do, and sit down in a car or something. And I check my pockets, and I'm like, and I'm like, where's my fucking phone?
Where's the phone?
But I'm more mad just because like I don't want to have to spend another $1,000 on a phone. Why are you mad? Or like not mad, but like why are you panicked when you lose your phone?
It's just this connectivity thing, man. I feel like I have to always be connected.
Oh, I can't wait to have that not be the case.
Yeah. It's funny. Awesome. It was so funny. One time I was driving back from Texas by myself, and I was in a minivan, and literally dropped my phone on the seat, beside the seat, right?
Right.
And I'm trying to find it. As I'm driving, but trying not to crash. You know what I mean? And literally, when finally after like 15 minutes, I had to pull off the side, like pull off the exit, like whatever, and I couldn't find the phone. And I started thinking, like, could have fallen out of the car. And I'm thinking, the doors are freaking closed. There's no holes in the floor for it to fall out. But literally, my mind started, like, tripping out.
It's got to be outside.
And it turned out that it was, like, literally, like, tucked underneath the seat in, like, a little spring area. Yep. And I found it, and it was fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just a mental thing. So this is going to be good for me to get away to a place that I can't use my phone hardly ever.
Even if you wanted to.
Even if I want to. And I think that's going to be really a blessing in disguise.
I agree. Six Pen says, how about Asian vine snakes for the Reptarium? You're talking to the right guy.
Yeah, Jay's favorite snake. We had an Asian vine snake here. It was
wild caught, right?
Yeah, it's a wild caught. It lived for about a year and a half here, and then it just passed away one day. I mean, literally was doing fine, eating, doing everything, and then all of a sudden one day it was gone. Yeah. And it was one of Jay's favorite snakes, actually.
I know. I'd sit there all day and just watch. They're so cool and have such a personality.
So I'd like to get the Central American vine snakes.
Oh, yeah.
Or South American, Central American. I'm not sure which ones they are. But yeah, I think they might be South American vine snakes. So they look very similar, but they're huge.
Oh, and they're way cooler, honestly, because they got all the blues in the side and stuff.
Yeah, South American vine snakes. So, yeah,
look at that bad boy.
These guys will literally eat mice and stuff like that.
Look at that.
So, yeah, so they're just like the other vine snakes, but bigger.
Much bigger. And they're rear fang venomous, no?
They are. They all are, yeah.
Which is so crazy too.
But yeah, so yeah, I definitely vine snakes. I think if I have it my way, I'd rather get a small group of the South Americans. I don't know I know Kevin has some. I don't know if he's got multiples or if he's breeding them. I've never known. So if anyone knows anyone that has South American vine snakes,
reach out.
Captive bred babies, I'm in. So let me know.
RC Exotic says, hey guys, much love. What's up, brother?
What's up, RC? I haven't heard from you in a bit.
Brandon Gramlin, hope you guys are having a great night through $20 for love. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man.
Rob S., how do you feel about BRB morphs? Love the podcast and YouTube. I found you during my wife's cancer treatment. Wow. 7 reptiles later, I'm still addicted.
Well, I hope that your wife is doing well now. So that's a difficult thing. One of my best friends' wife's been going through it for almost a year now. Talk about a tough year for her. She's doing better, and I think she's almost at the end of her treatment now, and she should be all wrapped up here within the next month or so, and things look really good. So I can only imagine what you're going through. So much love. I think so we obviously work with hypo. Brazilian rainbows. There's obviously albinos. There's a guy over in Europe that has pieds. I don't know that he's selling any of them, though. The pieds are interesting. They're not like pied ball pythons.
I've seen them,
but they're pretty darn cool. They're definitely pieds, no doubt about it. And I wonder if it's similar to the pied retics, where like the original pied retics were really not very great pieds, to be honest with you. And then through breeding them and selective breeding them, now you get almost like pied ball pythons in the retic. Hopefully that'll happen with the pied Brazilians. So there are also striped Brazilians. There's obviously the hypos. There's albino, the T positive albinos, or T negative albinos, I'm sorry, which are very, very cool. So yeah, I love all the rainbow stuff. I think that it's probably a little underappreciated, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think that with the right marketing, that there'd be a lot more popularity, especially now that albino Brazilians have come down in price, where I'm not going to say they're affordable, because I think they're still like $7,000 or $5,000 or $7,000 or maybe even $10,000. I'm not sure what they are now, but they were $25,000,
right?
And that was a little pricey for most people, obviously. Even $7,000 or $5,000 is pricey for most people too. But when they come down to say $1,500 a piece, they're going to sell like crazy. And there's a few other. There's like some white sides that are being worked on. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of rainbows. I think there's like Rainbows Are Us has a really
That's a cool name.
Yeah, they have a really cool collection of rainbow boas, like stripes and different patterns, and they have albinos and they have a bunch of other stuff. So we just work with the hypos here, and then of course with the Colombians we work with T positive, T negative, and leucistic.
Scottish Rob says, to ease your mind a bit about COVID, it's harder to transmit outdoors. Also, transmission is generally after 15 minutes of exposure. Bit of a workaround.
Yeah, I agree. The problem is that yes, Florida's outside, no doubt about it. But when we're working with venomous snakes, you have to be indoors,
right? And
so you're going to not only be indoors, but you're going to be indoors very close to people.
Quarters, yeah.
And most of those facilities are pretty small. So it's a little bit of a challenge. And the people that I want to go hang out with have all been pretty cavalier with hanging around people. you know, and so and I love all those guys. I want to really spend time with, you know, Chandler and Blake and Tyler and Paul Cafaro and obviously Savannah and all my other friends, Ty Park and all these people. I want to, you know, really have some fun with them. So not all their
Ty.
Yeah,
That's
not
cool.
all their facilities are outdoors, so it's a little bit more challenging. Obviously down to, you know, to Mario's place, ZWF. So yeah, it's, you know, I still think there's a strong chance we're going, but it's probably going to, you know, we'll probably have a couple more conversations about that before we actually, you know, lock in the date.
Becky says, sending love and positive vibes for Taz from Prince Edward Island.
Well, thank you so much. And Prince Edward's Island is beautiful, by the way.
Is that in Canada?
It is.
I've been there actually once. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, it's beautiful. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to need all that we can get.
Caleb says, I think you guys should come. Just be careful. Don't be like the rest of the idiots here. I have COPD and asthma and haven't got it. We're close to the end. Yeah.
Well, listen, I hope that you get vaxes with COPD and asthma. I mean, that's you're definitely high risk. So hopefully you can get some vaccine in you and hopefully get better. So yeah, we're getting there, man. We're going to get there.
I can't wait. It sounds so great.
And you know, just see, you know, we've talked about, we haven't traveled much. We'd like to spice the vlog up a little bit. I know you guys, I mean, now granted, we are getting to the point where we're going to start getting eggs and we're start getting stuff. So that's going to make the vlog a little bit more exciting. But we do think that if we can get down to Florida, that'll be
good, nice little break from the monotony of being at the shop all the time, right?
Yeah, and you know, even though the weather has kind of changed here and started to feel very spring-like, we still are in.
We still got snow in the forecast next Thursday.
Do we really?
Yeah, it's going to be 60 on Tuesday, and then it's supposed to be snow on Thursday or Friday.
What?
Yeah.
That's
bullshit.
Town, man. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's just go now, dude. Fuck out. No, wait. Let's wait till after Tuesday because Tuesday's going to be nice, dude.
Snow, man.
You sitting outside, dude, on Tuesday? You going to chill out?
60 and snow. What the
While you're doing that, I'm going to read Brother Clinton's in the house. Our boy.
What's up, Brother Clinton?
He says, loving the show. Do y'all talk turtles on Snake Talk? Check out my Facebook group, Save the Box Turtle, Indiana, USA. Love to all from your OG Brother Clinton.
I love you, Brother Clinton.
Love you, man.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk turtles all day long. I mean, I love turtles. I love toidles.
Yeah, I love toidles too.
I'm probably not as
versed.
Yeah, versed in turtles and terrapins in particular as I'd like to be. I mean, there's a lot of species of terrapins,
and I know like 4.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I get when we go down to Ty Park's place, he has a whole
slew.
Yeah, hundreds of different species. And I've been to a couple other places down in Florida that have there's this one guy that has one of the most dope setups in his backyard, and he's got hundreds of types of terrapins, and I have no idea what the hell. I mean, I walk around, I'm just like, all right,
that's a turtle. That's a turtle.
They all look so similar to me. I wish I did like Spangler Eye. Punch up Spangler Eye turtle. I can't remember what the frickin' Spangler Eye turtle. Yeah, there it is. I can't remember what the common name is.
Whoa,
but this
what
is one
are
of the coolest leaf turtle.
Look at this.
Is that the coolest turtle?
It's so cute.
They are so derpy, and they love worms. They eat worms. They're a semi-aquatic animal, but they love to also be on land, as you can see. And they're
so weird.
They're the cutest turtle in the world.
Love it.
And they just, when I was out at Garden State Tortoise,
that's a good one.
We fed his Spangler Eye, and they were just, I mean, they just come running for worms.
No,
like,
really?
Oh my God, they are so cute. So yeah, Brother Clint, I'm all about the toidles.
Justin says, love you, watch daily, and got my first ball python gravid in her shed, so 30 days till eggs. After shed, ?
Yeah, so 30 days, but remember that's a very loose estimate. It depends on the animal, it depends on the temperature, it depends on where the animal sits on the hot spot, it depends on all kinds of different things. So, I mean, I've had clutches as early as 21 days, and I've had clutches as late as 45 days. So you have a pretty big window there. Yeah. But typically, you're going to be 27 to 33 days.
Probably the average of 1,000 clutches every 30 days.
Yeah, right? You're going to be plus or minus 2 or 3 days on 30 after shed. But don't panic if you get it if it's 40 days.
Yeah, don't start popping the eggs out by yourself.
Don't do that, and and don't be start checking about 20 days after, just in case. You never know.
Richard Brown says, "Hey guys, much love from ON Ontario."
Yes,
Ontario.
Yeah,
Can ball pythons lay off season?
Absolutely. So yeah, Richard's been around for a long time. He's used to comment on my vlog like back in the early days.
Oh my God,
like
dude.
early days. So so good
Nice
to
to
see
see
you on
ya.
the podcast, man. Yes, I mean really to be totally honest with you, ball pythons can be atypical breeding seasons. I know people that say the gourmet rodent, for instance, down in Gainesville or Archer, Florida. They literally will get clutches of eggs 12 months of the year. 12 months, every single month of the year, they will produce ball python.
And they're just offsetting each like piece of their collection, right? Like they'll have like maybe like 20 females.
Not in this case. They have them all in one room, and what they do is they just so unlike us that are very seasoned, very targeted on our breeding season. They go through an ultrasound all of their females once a week, and a male doesn't go in with a female till it has 12 millimeter follicles. So as soon as a female has 12 millimeter follicles, they start breeding her. They don't do a food cycle. They don't do a temperature cycle. They just breed at 12 and then wait till they go. And some female, just everything cycles
because
on a
it's
different
natural,
pace.
yeah.
Yeah, and because they're not food cycling or temperature cycling, every female is going to go a little bit different, and so they produce 12 months of the year.
Wow, that is so interesting. SOX Arizona says hello from Flagstaff, Arizona. Brian,
Nice.
you rock.
Hey, thank you so much. We were near Flagstaff.
We love it.
And we love every part of Arizona. I love it. It's my. I've told people it's my favorite state.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Alaska. I think that I should. And when I say a favorite state, I talk about where I'd want to live. Right. Yep. I think I'd want to if I had to pick a state besides Michigan, because I'm here, my family's here, and my roots are down here pretty hard. It would be Arizona. That doesn't mean that I don't love California. It doesn't mean that I don't love Texas. It doesn't mean that I don't love other states. And it doesn't mean that I don't think Alaska might be a more interesting experience. I would never live in Alaska. No. Right? I would love to go there. I'd love to spend time there. And the same thing goes. I love LA. I love San Diego, but I won't go, I wouldn't live there.
Airport ops through $1. The message was retracted, so I'm sorry about that, Brian.
Sorry, airport ops. That's interesting.
Little Bogus says, hey, I'm right here. I don't remember what that was for, but
I know we said something about Little Bogus earlier.
I thought we were just talking about her being in school, doing all that extra work and stuff.
I thought so. Yeah.
Well, hey.
Well, you're here.
Well, hey, you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm here too.
And she did the capital I'm, like I'm right here.
Yeah, like she's
not
pissed.
I'm right
like
here.
She's pissed.
Yeah.
It's like I'm right here.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, and we're all happy we
love
here.
you.
Yeah. Rosie says, hi, Brian and Jay. What is your favorite species of frog? Great question.
Whew. Yeah. Hey, Rosie. Favorite species of frog? It's a tough one because there's so many that I really like.
What's that real iconic one that has the orange feet, red eyes, green and white body? It's a tree frog.
Yeah, probably red-eyed tree frog.
Red-eyed tree frog?
Yeah, red-eyed tree frog.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've always loved them. Ever since I was a kid.
They have the interesting side patterns and stuff like
Beautiful
that.
colors,
Yeah,
nice. Big body.
I think I really like the leaf frogs are really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Leaf frogs are like Malaysian leaf frog. Why don't you put up Malaysian leaf frog? They're probably right up there. And there
I got you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's another cool one.
Those are really cool.
You've seen these at Josh's.
Josh's frogs.
Yeah.
Punch up. This is a good one. Goliath toad, or maybe Goliath frog. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe Goliath frog. Yeah.
Let's see. Is this it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you got to get?
So look at this kid holding it. Look at this kid hold. No, that's a horned frog.
Oh, is it? Okay,
that's a
okay.
horned frog. Next one.
This one?
That one right there.
Oh my god,
that's a Goliath
dude.
frog. And these guys are from Africa. I've never heard of anyone owning these in captivity.
Can we get one?
I would love to get one. Look at the down there. There's another African right there. Look at this. Look at this frog, man.
It's the size of his torso.
That's a frog right there. So that's probably the dream frog for me, to be totally honest with you. I love the Malaysian leaf frogs, but I think that if I had a dream frog, it'd be the Goliath frog.
Brandeno,
what's
I like
up?
that. Says, I love your content, Brian. Please keep your head up. I know you're going through anxiety is tough. It honestly drives me crazy, but F the haters.
Yeah, thank you. And it is weird, I mean, like I've noticed like the hate side of things, like the drama / hate side comes in cycles. And there's no doubt that, there was a little pop, nothing like it used to be. I mean, a few years ago, I couldn't do anything without people hating on me for everything I do. Now it's pretty, not very much, but there has been a little swell of hatred over the last 2 weeks. And honestly, it bothered me for a little bit. Now I'm just ignoring it because I don't give a shit. I just don't care. And and I guess I've been probably more honest with people than I had in the past. I used to be much more like political about the things that I would do, like not try to say anything negative about people. Not that I still won't say negative about people, but like MJ was talking about with the drama with me and Corey, I'll call a spade and just say, hey, listen, this is bullshit, and I'm sure that causes drama, and then people in the reptile hobby, can you believe that those guys are feuding? Yeah. I don't care. I'm not feuding with anybody. Yeah. I'm just stating facts. And I know that creates drama. And then of course, every now and then, for whatever reason, our thumbnails and titles are always the same, right? Yeah. They're always going to be sensational. They're always going to be whatever. And it's just like, it was funny. Did you see, it was I believe it was a Netflix show on that real famous Egyptologist.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know.
That he just did a show about finding a tomb. He was looking for Nefertiti.
Yes, I did. Right? I have seen that. Yeah.
And I saw I watched the show, and then a couple days ago I saw a preview for it where it's like, this is the entrance to the tomb, and I was like, they so fucking clickbaited.
Oh,
us,
my clickbait forever.
But the point is that's what every TV show, that's what every movie does. That's what everything does. But every now and then, even though we do it all the time, we don't lie to people. We just, make it sensational, and we make people want to click on the thing. But every now and then people will, decide they hate me for it. And it goes through a little period of time where, for 2, 3, 4 weeks, I had people saying, I'm stopped watching your content. I can't say, and I'm like,
can't stand the clickbait, dude.
Literally, if you don't want to watch my content because you don't like my thumbnail, then you don't care about my content.
No, you never did, because everyone would look past that.
There's no way I've ever looked at a video and been like, I won't watch this video because it's clickbait. As long as they aren't lying to me and the content is good, I'm watching it.
Yep.
So like I said, unfortunately, there's been a little swell of negativity around me this last few weeks, but it'll subside because I'm not doing anything that deserves it. You know what I mean?
It's just bullshit.
It's just the way it is. But like I said, bandwagon happens. When you see one person do it, then another person jumps on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then the people that do hate me use that as fire. Like, oh, see, I told you he was a terrible person.
Yeah, look at him.
I literally can't care less about it. Honestly, I can't care less. And I'm sorry that I'd even take these last 3 minutes or 4 minutes and talk about it, because it's just garbage, and I don't care about these people.
And that's right. And Hannah, our girl,
what's up, Hannah?
She got the Rona. We found out on a podcast last night. She goes, hey, Brian and Jay, glad I've been able to catch all these podcasts live this week. Still stuck at home with the Rona, but improving every day. Cheers.
Well, I'm glad that you're improving. And most people, and again, I don't take this lightly at all. A lot of people lost a lot of close people in their life, and it's by no means something to take lightly. But most people have what you have, where it's like, it sucks, it's whatever, but you get over it, and life goes on. But it's still something to take serious. So I'm sorry you caught it, and I'm glad that you're feeling
speedy
better
recovery.
Yes,
Hannah.
absolutely.
We love you. Center9 says, glad I'm able to catch the live. Great to listen while doing homework.
Well, good. I'm glad. See, they're doing homework. They don't have spring break.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's up with that?
Dude, that's what happened to me. I took online courses in college, and I didn't know that they don't give you like a winter break or nothing. So I get done. I went to Florida for the winter break. I was still in Jersey at the time.
And you're like, oh shit.
I get home. I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know.
So I get home, and it's like maybe 2 days until class starts again. And I look, and all my assignments are highlighted, you need to get this done. I'm like, I got a week's worth of work to do in a day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and by the way, before we move on, we'll get to Super Chats. We do have here in about a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Depends on how long we talk and how long we go on with Super Chats and how long we ramble about different things. But I do have a guest that'll be on for the last half hour of the show or so. His name is David. He's a paranormal guy. And we'll talk about some projects that we may be working on together in the future. So he came up from Ohio, met him just before we went on, and he's upstairs at the Reptarium right now, just chilling out, watching stuff. But we're going to bring him on, talk a little bit of paranormal stuff and some other cool projects that we might be working on in the future together.
Exciting stuff.
We'll talk reptiles for now.
Long Shot Chameleon says, I've been watching you since '08, back when I was breeding ball pythons.
Jeez.
Now I'm breeding panther chameleons and would love to help you with your panthers and veileds.
Well, listen, I'm all about any help I can get. Let me know what you think you can help with. Because they're doing great. They're really they seem to be thriving. But at the same time, I'm always
all ears
about what I'm by no means an expert on chameleons. So reach out to me too. And thank you so much. 2008, that was back in the old day. That's when I started. February 8th, 2008 was when I started my YouTube channel.
The vlog, right? Or
no, that was actually the Snake Bites TV.
Snake Bites. That seems like
2008. So YouTube started in 2006.
It seems like less long than that. That's crazy, right? It's wild.
Well, you figure that's 13 years. 13 years ago.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
13 years I've been doing. So figure there hasn't been 1 week because we did once a week for just shy of 10 years, which was kind of messed up. I started the vlog channel in November. Well, I started daily vlogging in November.
Yeah.
I started the vlog channel, I think, in June 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. So coming this June will be 5 years. And at that time, I started like once a week and still doing snake bites once a week. And then we went to 3 times a week and continued to do snake bites once a week. And I wanted to do snake bites for 10 years. Which would have been February 8th of the year that I started daily vlogging. I think that I was maybe 2 months shy
of
10 years every week. So, but the fact is whether I was putting once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or now every day, there hasn't been 1 week that I have not posted a video since 2008.
That's so crazy.
Which is crazy. It's wild to think 13 years of that.
What have you done every week since 2008, right?
2008.
It's crazy.
And that's what someone...
Not shower.
Someone actually texted me today, and they said, do you ever have a hard time coming up with content? I'm just kind of struggling because I feel like I've covered everything. And this was a guy that I think puts out maybe once a week or something like that. Certainly has less than 100 videos out on the internet. And I thought to myself, it was a little interesting. I'm thinking like, between the vlog channel and Snake Bites, we have like 2,500 videos.
It's crazy.
So sometimes it does get difficult to come up with content, but we try to tell a story every day the best we can, and sometimes we fail.
Yes, that's true, and that's okay.
Yeah, V-Dog, what's up?
V-Dog says, when will you know when your green tree python is going to lay eggs? You've seen them successfully locked, but she didn't have a lot of follicle growth.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that we talked about with ball pythons earlier. It's the same thing. We've just got to put some weight on her, continue to put calories in, and as we put calories in, we'll see follicular growth, and hopefully we'll see more breeding. And they can be atypical breeders as well, so they can really lay eggs almost any time of the year. So fingers crossed. I don't know if it's going to go or not. I don't know. I'll continue to monitor her. But I would, if I were going to guess with where she was at with follicular growth and where she's at right now with feeding and all these other things, I think that if we're going to produce, we're going to probably produce maybe eggs in July or August.
Okay.
Which would be very off season, but completely within reason with green tree pythons. Again, another animal that can breed almost all year.
T says, hey, Brian, thank you for all you do. Is there a trick to getting your female ball pythons to eat more during the breeding season? Last year, 2 of my 3 girls ate well. This year, barely ate normal, let alone extra.
So copulation is the key, right? So get as many male copulations on those females as possible. The more the females copulate, the more they're going to want to eat. So, and basically think about it from this standpoint. I always say, you try to get into the snake's minds, right? Reptiles' minds when you're breeding. So if they're not going to produce eggs, there's not a big demand for them to eat in the wild, and they're probably going to conserve their energy, right? Once they copulate and start producing follicles, then their mind is, I've got to put body mass on
for my kids
in order to produce viable babies. So then they start wanting to eat more, which causes, it's a chain reaction, right? Copulation causes feeding, causes follicle growth causes feeding, causing copulation, causing egg production. So you think about it that way.
B-Dub says, hey, Brian and Jay, can I get a hello or a shout out? Thanks.
What's up, B-Dub?
Hey,
up,
hello.
Man? What are you doing?
And a shout out.
B-Dub. Hey, bud.
And then I don't know if it's Polak or Polak, but we're going to go Polak on this one. Polak says, hi, Brian, what's your favorite snake? The one I'm holding.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. That's what I always tell people. It's the one I'm looking at that very moment, or the one I'm holding. I mean, I really can't. That's a tough one. It's a little easier to say like, what's your favorite lizard or what's your favorite crocodilian. It's harder for me for snakes because I'm a snake guy at heart, and I've been working with snakes my whole life. And
there's so many variants.
So many. I mean, every snake is different, man. I mean, every snake is, whereas maybe with a lizard you have a different relationship with, say, Bella or Elvis or Diddy or Dixie or Tiana or whatever. And maybe in a crocodilian, Assault is amazing, RJ is amazing. So you have these relationships with them. And at the same time, you could say like, Cuban crocs are one of my favorites, or salty crocs because of the way they look or the way they act. Whereas snakes are so different because they're so diverse and everyone has something so special to offer.
Yeah, I agree. CCC Geckos says, hey guys, so what are your opinions on the Black Knight Leopard geckos? I'm currently listening while I clean and pair our geckos we bought a bit ago. 2 successful pairs so far, future giant babies.
Oh, good. Giants are really cool. So Black Knight, and I'm no expert at all. I'm sure Jessica could go on for hours about it. But my understanding of Black Knights is that, not all of them are jet black, and some of them still have a lot of pattern. Now, the ones that have really dark, beautiful Black Knight patterns are amazing, and I wouldn't mind getting some. The reason I haven't pulled the trigger on them yet is because of that, because my understanding is that not all of them turn out jet black, and I would be bummed if I spent the money that they cost and got, say, 6 Black Knights and spent a bunch of money, and 5 of the 6 turned out to not be jet black. Yeah. That would be a big time bummer. But I think that through selective breeding, polymorphism, also maybe pairing with the right animals to make them more and more black. I mean, they're cool, man. I mean, come on, they're beautiful animals. A jet black leopard gecko,
it would be unreal.
Is a stunning. I mean, you have them. You can punch up Black Knight leopard geckos. I mean, they're really beautiful animals. I think they're. There you go. I mean, they're stunning animals.
Come on now, dude.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous. I mean, that's as gorgeous as it gets.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Exemplary.
Beautiful. So if I could get every single animal to look like that, I'd be buying them all day long. But you can roll down just a little bit to that blue background.
This one?
That's what I'm talking about.
So this is pretty similar. Like we have that dark line, right? Like,
exactly.
And that's so pretty much, like you said, it would just polygenically breed it until you get all dark.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You would be bummed if you paid a bunch of money and ended up with that animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely more bummed, especially if you thought it was going to look like this.
And that's another one. Yeah, and that's another one. The one you just punched on before.
Is it this one?
No, next to it.
This one.
Yep, that one. Same thing. Beautiful animal, beautiful, but that's not jet black.
No.
And so that's the only problem. And I think that eventually, through selective breeding, someone's going to figure that out and get them to where they're always black. And nevertheless, really cool project. I mean, by all means, I'd like to get into them. They've been on my radar, but just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
King's Collage says, hey guys, you are cheering me up today after my total knee replacement surgery.
Oh my gosh.
I sent a package to Brian and Lori, and the post office says it was delivered. Just want to make sure you actually got it. I have a box for Matilda.
So, first off, I hope a speedy recovery.
Yeah, my mom just went through that, so just keep up on your rehabilitation stuff, and you'll do great.
Yeah, it's if it's done right and you do the rehab,
PT,
it's gonna life changing.
Yeah, better than it was.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as the package, I don't know. I don't know what the package was. We haven't been to the P.O. box in a couple weeks, so it could be sitting there waiting for us. So I don't know the answer. If I
doesn't want to lie to you, so we don't know yet.
I will say this: I opened one thing today.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've opened anything from the P.O. box in the last few weeks. So, and it wasn't from you. It was from Finland.
Blue Side Constrictor says best morph to start off a good base with when breeding ball pythons.
I think there is no right or wrong answer with that. It's
art.
Right. It's what you want. It's what you're going to be really passionate about, and also what you can afford. Your budget. That's a huge part of it. If you have $200, you're in a range that there's a lot of cool stuff for $200. But if you have $2,000, you got a whole different range, right? So there's no wrong reasons that it comes down to what you want to work with. It comes down to budget. It comes down to availability and so on like that. But just work with what you're going to be really passionate passionate about, and it's going to be fine.
I agree. Sherry says, hey, Brian and Jay, sounds very serious for Taz. What is your reaction towards the poll you posted about content on the vlog? Love the podcast and vlogs. As always, positive vibes coming your way.
Yeah, Sherry, thank you. And you're right. It doesn't sound good. And yeah, so I don't know if you saw the poll, Jay.
No, I did not actually.
So the poll was, do you want to see more BHB Reptarium content? Do you want to see, more BHB content, more Reptarium content, a mix of both, or reptile build projects? Interestingly enough, there was about 20,000 votes. It was 15, almost, it might have been 15 or 16%, but it was like 15 to 16% BHB, 15 to 16% Reptarium, 15 to 16% reptile builds, and then like 50 something percent a mix
of everything.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So that's exactly what we do now.
Anyway.
It's what we do now. So it sounds like that's what people wanted. The vast majority wanted exactly what we do, and I think that we'll continue to try to do that.
Awesome. Alex says, have you ever seen the African dwarf crocodile? I heard there is a locality smaller than is it Coviers? Culvers,
yeah.
Culvers, sorry. Dwarf caiman, should it be its own species?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Sean Heffleck, I messed with him years ago at Sean Heffleck's place, and very high energy, crazy crocodile.
Yeah, wildin'.
It's like a Nile crocodile. It's like a Chihuahua Nile crocodile.
Yeah, I get you.
I personally think that not only do I think that those should be their own species, but there's also some pretty good research in there's a dwarf freshwater crocodile too in Australia. And I think that, when you have a crocodile that should be 16, 17 foot and it's 5 foot, that should be its own species.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's not the same animal. And so, yes, I've seen them. I've messed with them. And I personally, but you got to remember when it comes to taxonomy, that's a whole, there's a whole
political world.
The political world. And really, whoever is describing species can be lumpers or clumpers or separators. So you can get one taxonomist that separates into 10 different species, and you can get the same 10 species, and another taxonomist will put them into 2 species. So it really depends on who describes them. And my gut feeling would be some biologists at some point will redescribe the dwarf freshies, Johnsoni, as well as the dwarf Nilocus. I would think.
Tank says, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Brian, what would you recommend breeding a banana orange dream super stripe ball python to?
Banana orange Dream
super stripe.
Oh my gosh! So
that's a lot.
Gosh, that's a lot. God, it's so crazy. I mean, obviously, I really would be interested to see what
Cine red stripe would be cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could go one of two ways. You could go either outside the box and try to produce something on that rate where you're going like Cine blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or you can go the other way and try to see what like a banana super orange dream super stripe would look like. You know what I mean? So in that case, you'd want to just go with an orange dream, or really like a super orange dream, either Spectre or a super orange dream, yellow belly or something on that lines, where you can maybe go down that route where you see
almost every baby would be.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have all orange dream stuff. You're going to have a lot of super orange dream stuff. You're going to have super orange dream yellow bellies. You're going to have super orange dream Spectres. You're going to have super orange dream Spectre bananas and blah, blah, blah. And then ultimately a banana super orange dream super stripe. You could go either way, or you can go completely in the different direction and take it away from the super stripe altogether. But I would probably, if nothing else, try to stick within the orange dream complex. So whatever it is, whatever, if you want to go in a different direction, try to keep into the orange dream to get that super orange dream. I think that's the way to go.
Taylor Jordan says, was thinking about the podcast all day, and here I am late. Brian and Jay, you are both so inspirational. Hope to meet you soon. Much love from Maine.
Well, Taylor, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate your support, and I'm glad that you're here with me.
Yeah, we love you.
And I'm glad I'm here, too, because like I said, I had a little bit of a rough day today, just kind of going whatever, and I do feel better hanging out with you guys. I always feel better. I appreciate you guys so much.
We love you guys. More than you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stephanie says, hey, Brian and Jay, a little late tonight. My mom is in the hospital trying to stop her transplanted kidney from failing. Send her some good vibes for me. I hope all the best for you and your families. Well, you will be in my thoughts for sure, Stephanie. That's crazy.
Stephanie, I mean, it's always difficult, I mean, I have a good friend that went through a lot of, issues with kidney transplant, and he's still alive and kicking and doing fine. He's had several pretty significant stints with problems over the last 10 years, but he's always bounced back from it. So I'm praying your mom bounces back from it too. And it's just a tough thing to go through, especially in these times when, there's probably limited access, not as many people visiting, hanging out and stuff like that. So lots of positive energy coming your way and your mom's way. And I just hope that everything, but please keep us posted. Seriously. It means a lot. Please let us know.
Little Bogus asks, what's your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
Good question. I think I love talking business. I'm sure most people probably don't want to hear me go on a dissertation about investments and stuff like that. But I'm very into it. And listen, if you bought Bitcoin at $100 or $500 or $15,000, you probably love it, right? Or Ethereum.
If you bought it 2 days ago, probably not that hyped.
I will say I'm thinking about sticking like maybe $5,000 into Dogecoin, just for the hell of it.
Why not?
Why not?
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst? It's 4 cents.
Yeah.
Is it going to go down to 2 cents and I lose $2,500? Okay,
still not that big a deal. Yeah,
but it could go up, and I think that there's I think that Dogecoin is going to be $10. I doubt it. And the reason is because there's an unlimited amount of Dogecoin compared to the limited number of Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Do I think that people that were buying $50,000 Bitcoin, I think you're crazy. I seriously do, because the upside to Bitcoin is not worth the downside to Bitcoin, right? So essentially, if people are saying it's going to go to $100,000, that's a huge jump. From $50,000 to $100,000, you have to double.
That's twice the amount of people buying in.
Yeah, and that's not just doubling, like from $100 to $200 a stock can do that. From $50,000 to $100,000, that's insane. And so you are risking, hoping that you can double your money at $100,000, but there's a good chance that $50,000 is going to turn into $15,000. So you could lose
all your money.
You could lose 70% of your investment on Bitcoin a lot more realistically than gaining twice your money, which is only twice your money.
Yeah, it's not a lot. And like, what are you putting in? $1,000 or something?
And I don't think that anyone thinks Bitcoin's going over $100,000. You know what I mean? But most people didn't think that was going to go to $50,000. So I personally think crypto is an interesting platform. I think it's very dangerous to invest in Bitcoin personally. I think Ethereum is a little bit better risk, because it is a very volatile market, but you're only talking about $1,500, maybe $2,000 per coin. So it has some upside potentially still left. And I think that there will be more and more people accepting. And that's why I think Doge is interesting, because I think you're looking at Mark Cuban is starting to going to accept Doge at the Mavericks games. I think Elon Musk has kind of hinted on the fact that Tesla's going to start.
Yeah, like if they had like an Uber Tesla service that it would take that.
Take Doge. And I think that you've got several other, pretty major billionaires that are really looking at it as an option. But again, when you start talking about like, all right, well, hey, it's this cab ride cost you, 300 Doge. You know what I mean? That makes sense. What's Bitcoin? How are you going to
0.000015?
So I think cryptocurrency is a very if you have money to lose, play with it. If you don't. But I do think that, again, if you want to get into the crypto kind of world, a lot of people have been talking about it. I've become obsessed with NFTs, and I think that that's an interesting play in the crypto world.
Oh, I have something to talk about after the podcast.
Ah, cool. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
A couple things actually.
Excellent. Yeah, but look at NFTs. They're an interesting crypto world.
Yeah, I had a weird night last night thinking about a lot of different stuff. So
that's good.
Potterhead threw $5 for love. We
What's
love
up, Potterhead?
Castilla says, Brian, you are my hero and role model.
Thank you so much. I
So
mean, I do the
lovely.
best. I don't know how good I do, but I try.
Beautiful. RKM says, sup guys, I'm having trouble picking a ball python, either an Enchi lemon blast yellow belly or a super special. Which would you choose? Ooh.
Me personally, I'm going to just tell you, I like the Enchi Lemon Blast Yellow Belly.
I agree.
Personally, I think it's a prettier snake than a super special.
And you got some cool stuff if you ever breed.
And genetically, it's pretty cool. It's a super special is a neat animal. I love them. I have them. I
They're
work
really
with them. We'll produce more of them this year, so it's not like I don't like them. But it is a little bit more, you can't do as much with it, right? Because it's just a special.
You're only going to get special.
Yeah, you can only produce specials or crystals or that ilk. Whereas if you go with the other way, you've got so many options. So, and I think it's a prettier snake, to be honest with you. But again, you make that decision.
Yeah, if you're never going to breed, then it don't really matter. Just pick the prettier one.
Yeah, but I still think it's the Lemon Blast is prettier.
Scottish Rob says, clickbait is the commercial of YouTube. People get caught up over the stupid small stuff. Beth was sent a blackhead ball python or baby ball python pics for you.
I did not see them yet, so I look forward to it.
Wow, that's awesome.
She'll be here tomorrow, so I'll bust her balls about that.
Yeah, where the heck's them pictures?
Where's the damn pictures? Speaking of the pictures, wonder if I can send this to you. Give me 1 second here to see. I might not be able to find it. It is insane the amount of frickin' like just everything that I get.
Oh God, I couldn't even imagine.
You know, like messages, you know, blah blah. I can't ever.
While you're looking for that, V-Dog asks, how you loving your Pacman gaming machine?
Oh man, we love it, dude.
Playing Frogger right before the cast, dude.
I literally can't find him. I'll have to. But I've got a new animal that I'll show you here in a little
Wait,
bit,
what do you mean?
Bearded dragon.
No way. Was
it's gonna be coming.
Somebody we were talking to the other day?
Yes. Well, I don't know if you were there. I was talking to Jay about it, but someone's going to be sending us a all white bearded dragon.
No way,
yeah,
dude.
It's a donation.
Oh, I cannot wait.
So yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Now you had some snakes that were supposed to come, but didn't because of weather or FedEx or whatever. What's going on?
They're going to come Tuesday.
Oh, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah. So
hell yeah. Cool.
Of course, we'll be off Tuesday,
but still, we'll have them here, you know.
But yes. So what was the question about there? Was there a question there that I
how much were you loving your Pacman machine?
Pac machine. Yeah, we literally were playing it. You know, I played it a couple times today. I mean,
he's got all that fucking high scores. It's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like he grew up on.
You know, see, that's the thing. I grew up on that. That was my Call of Duty.
Right. Call of Duty.
Like I can't play Call of Duty for shit, but I can play Pacman and Galaga and Donkey Kong and I'm kicking Noah's ass on it sometimes and Noah destroys me. I mean, he is a gamer, you know, he's really good at games. But this is
your world.
This is my world now, baby. And there's a ton I have not played yet.
Oh, there's
I haven't even
games.
scratched the surface. I've played like 5 games so far. We were playing Frogger just before. And so I've just scratched the surface of those 4. And probably 370 of them I never would play ever, you know?
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of weird ones on there. There's like crazy.
There's a lot of stuff like Space Invaders and Centipede and stuff like that.
We got to get into,
So, it's going to be awesome. And when we do the VIP experience, we were so close on this, guys. So close.
Yeah, we're real
on the
close.
VIP. I think within the next 2 weeks, we'll be able to offer VIP experiences here. You guys can come play, and we can even do 2-player, and I'd kick your ass.
Yeah. Pay a couple $100, let me kick your booty.
I'm going to kick your ass.
Lucas says, just turned on the podcast, and first thing is a Spangleri. I love, is it Geomida or Geomida? I don't know.
I don't know how.
Spangleri. I've always wanted one. Hope to get a breeding colony soon.
They are so cool. There you go. See, I
read your mind.
The diversity in the podcast. I love Spangleri. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Maria says, hey, Brian and Jay, hope everything is doing well. It shocks me that people can hate the version of Brian I see today. Everyone has chapters of their life.
Yeah.
They don't read aloud. Can't wait to meet up.
Yeah, you know, it's like, thank you. And, you know, it's like they say, you know, you can't change what's been written, right? You know, I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. But you got to remember when I made the mistakes that I made with content, people loved it. You know, people
they weren't
wanted
mistakes
more
at that
of it.
point.
Yeah, like it's you know, times have changed. You know, I mean, the hobby has changed. Everything has changed. There were certainly people that were detractors back in 2008, 2009, but the vast majority of people that, you know, actually ultimately and, you know, years later became haters of mine, they were the ones that were egging me on back then. Like, this is awesome, dude. I love your stuff. And then all of a sudden they turned into like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. So, you know, times have changed and you could do one of two things. You can hide from the past, or you can just allow it to be there and live there and realize that, hey, people are going to judge you on it, but I'm not going to change who I did. I made those mistakes. I grew as a person. The industry and the hobby and everything else has changed. And I try to represent it the best I possibly can. That doesn't mean that I do a great job every time, but I'm going to continue to try and listen. You know, I've beat the dead horse, you know, many times when I say that, like, you know, anyone that hates me is a problem with them, not me. You know what I mean? And that's not me being arrogant. It's just I'm not a hateable guy. I'm a decent person. Do I fuck up? Yes, of course I do.
We all do.
But, you know, I am not a bad person. That's one thing that I've come to realize through my anxiety is that I'm trying to love myself and I'm trying to become, you know, at least accepting of myself. And it's something that I've had a hard time dealing with my whole life. is having a good opinion of myself, just because of childhood issues and so on like that. And the fact is I'm just not a bad guy. Period. I'm just not a bad guy. And if you think I'm a bad guy, then that's on you. That's not on me. That's your problem. It's not my problem.
Potter had a post before, but the super chat wasn't connected, so she sent me it. It says, thumbnails don't matter to your true fans. Those of us who start our day with you would watch if there was no thumbnail.
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's a great segue, right? And what that means is that the people that really care about my content are going to watch no matter what that looks like. And so for me to attract people that aren't
the true fans,
I have no choice but to clickbait them in. And with clickbait is, again, clickbait can be two different things. Clickbait can be lying to people, or clickbait could be just having a really sensational title that tells the story of what we do anyways. And that's what we do. We don't lie to people.
Yeah,
we don't
it's usually just a creative spin on what happened.
We say, all right, this is what is the most interesting thing that we did in this vlog. Let's make the title and thumbnail to where people really want to see what is it that we did.
Yeah.
Right? We never lie to people.
Yeah, it's not like we're like, hey, bit by a cobra, and then there's no cobra in the vlog or anything.
Yeah,
you know?
and or like, look at, there's the entrance to the tomb, and then they never find a tomb.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lie, and that was on Discovery or whatever, Netflix or whatever. So that's just the reality of it. But if I just, to me, it's just what I really think, honestly, Potterhead, is that it just gives the people that want to bitch about me an excuse to bitch about me.
Right.
They're trying to find a reason to bitch. And then they go, oh, I can bitch about this. And if the worst thing you can bitch about me is my thumbnails, I guess I'm doing pretty well.
I agree.
Because I can find a lot of other reasons that for a lot of other people to bitch about, right?
Then a thumbnail or title.
So if the worst thing I do in life is put out a sensational thumbnail and title, then I guess I'm doing good. I'll die on that hill.
Lucas says, also just started breeding a Rankins 2 years ago, another dream animal, and got an adult female Australian water dragon last year for only $50.
Wow.
Another dream animal.
Yeah, those are really dream. I wonder if he's in Australia or not.
It doesn't say it because it's dollars.
Oh, it is dollars. Okay, because Australian water dragons for $50 is very, very cheap. And the fact that he said he had Rankins there are Rankins in the country, obviously, but
just rare.
But yeah, those are Henry Lawsoni is what they're called. Yeah.
Nick says, hi, Brian. I'm from Miami. I'm planning another visit to the Reptarium. My family and I had a private tour with you about 2 years ago and had a great time.
Well, that's awesome. So when you come back, you can see the new Reptarium, the 2.0. You'll really like it. Well, it's really nice. Savannah came from Gatorland with Mike and Danny, and she had not seen 2.0, so it was really nice to show her the place and get her reactions and stuff like that. So I can't wait to have you back and show you the new place. You'll love it. And then, of course, 3.0 is not too far off down the road.
Mark says, I have a 2-year-old Western hog who is always in feeding mode. She's on 2 large fuzzies a week. Do you have any tips for calming her down? Should I space out the 2 fuzzies over the week? Thank you.
Well, there's a couple things here. Some hogs are just like that. They're little sharks, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feed a little more, I don't know how big it is, but I wouldn't space it out necessarily. I would just feed more if you can. If they're 2 fuzzies, maybe go to a small mouse, and that could calm it down a little bit. But as long as it's just like a feed mode, as soon as they're out of feed mode, they're typically really good. So you may just have to, and that's where maybe, I'm not a big fan of these typically, but maybe a feed box is an option for you. I typically don't like feed boxes, but when you can't break that food mode, the other thing you can do is try target training. Take a little tiny ball on a stick.
As funny as it sounds, it could be possible.
Yeah, and that way it only is fired up when it sees the ball.
Yeah.
And so you can try that. And it'll work on hognose just like it works on retics and works on everything else. So, yeah.
King's Collage says, this was the guy that sent the package he's looking for.
Okay.
Says it was for you and Stephanie, Lori and Stephanie, back at the end of January.
Oh, yeah. So we actually do have that package. We have not opened it because Steph works remotely.
Yeah, I haven't seen Steph in a minute.
Steph hasn't been here in probably 3 months. She works. I mean, she works with us every day, but she works about 2 hours away. She moved 2 hours away. We keep her employed from home, and so we've been waiting for her to come because it says open up with Stephanie. So yes, we do have the package. We just have not opened it up because Stephanie hasn't been here.
Oh,
so I don't know when she's coming. I have no idea.
I haven't seen her in a minute.
So as soon as she comes, we will open it.
Probably once it gets warm out. She'll start venturing out the house, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maria says, we need travel in the vlogs. Go away, Rona.
I'm telling you, yeah. I mean, I miss it too, and I think it'll be exciting to get back out and do some traveling. And,
Me too.
And we may do that here in a couple weeks.
Berm Donor says Hamburg went well, picked up a green tree as a display animal. He's in quarantine. Brian, what is your opinion on imports?
First off, yeah, I heard Hamburg was a banger. And congratulations on the green tree. I think that, imports aren't always bad. I mean, I prefer, if I could buy a captive, I always will buy a captive.
Yeah, I'm.
I just don't feel like importing animals that we have captive bred make any sense at all. You get a cheaper animal, but a lot of times it ends in bad. It's not good for the
It always ends in bad.
Yeah, it almost always ends
Whether
bad.
it's for the animal or for the environment, it's ending in bad.
It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the animal typically. When an animal lives a big portion of its life in the wild and then all of a sudden is taken and put in captivity, extremely stressful for that animal and doesn't do well. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there was a study in Australia about relocating, because there's a lot of snake catches in Australia. So what happens when there's a nuisance animal that people will come in, they have license, they collect them, and then they take them and put them out. And they did a study with carpet pythons where when an animal was moved more than a half a kilometer away, it always perished within 2 years.
Wow!
So just not even being in the right spot in the wild, the animal stressed out and died.
That is so crazy.
So you figure taking that animal out of the wild and sticking it into a cage, it doesn't have a really good chance of survival. So I think that wild-caught animals, to preserve a species or to work on a specific thing or increase gene pool, 100%.
Sweet.
When you can buy something captive and you just stay, my opinion, stay away from wild.
Courtney threw $2 for love. Appreciate
you,
Courtney.
Thank you.
We got another $1 from Long Shot Chameleons for love.
Long Shot Chameleons. What's going on? That sounds like a cool name.
Yeah, I like that. Rob says, she's fine now. Thank God you helped me through. I guess this was the mom with the kidney transplant, I think.
Oh, good.
I hope you get through your mental health issues soon. Do you plan on a UK visit at any point? We need our hero.
First off, thank you. Second off, UK is high on my list when life gets back to normal. And I mean, my guess would be that the UK and the US will be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I realize there's a UK strain that's a little bit more difficult, being a little bit more difficult. As a matter of fact, the predominant strain in the UK right now is the UK strain, not the original COVID-19. But I'm hoping that the UK rebounds quickly, and I think from a percentage standpoint, the UK is at like 25% of its population already, whereas they're far ahead of us because of the numbers. You just guys don't have as many people as us.
Right.
Even though U.S. is way ahead of everyone when it comes to actual. There's 85 million shots have been given already. About close to 30 million people already.
We just have a huge populace.
We just have a huge populace. So I think the UK and the U.S. will be good, and when that happens, definitely want to come over. So big plans for sure.
Big ups. Long Shot Chameleons came back and said, how can I get in touch with you personally? He was the one that wanted to help with the Panthers and all that stuff.
Yeah, so send an email to info@BHB Reptiles, put attention Brian, and it'll get to me. Thank you.
Sweet. 7 plus us reptiles through $5 for love. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Veronica says, grew up watching Steve Irwin. Now I watch Brian and the crew. You guys rock. That's awesome.
Listen, that's like that always is difficult because there's such big shoes to fill. But thank you so much. And I think that is I've said this a million times. No one's going to fill those shoes, but maybe together a consortium of people can fill what Steve did, and if I can just be even a little piece of that, that's very honoring.
All right, so Brother Clint has a good question. He says, what business decision coincided with you moving from a paycheck to paycheck existence to a relatively comfortable one? Any advice for the entrepreneur facing their own leap of faith for the future?
Well, yeah, I tell you, I could talk about this all the time. I think to me, diversification is very, very important. Okay, so first off, your passion is important, right? So follow your passion, whatever your passion. I know you're passionate about Christianity, but but I don't know what the finances side behind, but by that is, I don't, there's obviously a lot of people that make money off that world. But I think that, when you start to work towards a goal, you think of what are the different revenue streams that can come from that one goal. The mistake I made paycheck to paycheck was that for most of my career, I was reliant on one revenue stream. And so there were good years, there were bad years, there's ups, there's downs, and so like that. As soon as I moved from a one revenue stream to a multi-revenue stream, so I looked at what I do. I love reptiles. How can I create revenue streams from reptiles that may have at least something to do with them, but not just breeding reptiles or not just doing this.
Not one-dimensional.
So not one-dimensional. That's when I move it into a comfort zone, right? Because now all of a sudden, you have 7 or 8 revenue streams. Maybe 2 of them are killing it. 2 of them are doing okay. 3 of them are barely making money or something like that. And they're kind of rotating, right? All of a sudden you hit it big on this, you go this way. And you always continue to look for different ways of creating revenue streams. Investments. And the other thing I've talked about a lot is that, you take some money off the table all the time. So if you do have a good month and let's say you make $1,000 that month, over your bills, take 200 of that and set it aside into an investment that's tangible. And then over time, that $200 turns into $2,000, into $5,000, into $10,000, and now all of a sudden you're building a portfolio of something that's making you money that isn't due to your passion, but is a real estate investment, a stock investment, some sort of an investment where you're able to create income from your income. And all of a sudden, as time goes on, that side hustle isn't even a hustle because you're not even doing anything. Your money's just making money for you. And then all of a sudden that subsidizes your other revenue streams and so on and so forth. So yeah, just, look at it is broadly, the thing that Elon Musk talked about all the time was trying to make everything the most simple, take it down to the most simple option as possible. Why would people spend money on one of your business options? What is it that people would like? Break it down to the simplest form and then build it back up. And if you can do that, I think you can be successful.
Raphael says, "Hey Brian, sending my prayers to Taz. Please tell my wife Juliana to let me buy a ball python. Love you guys."
Juliana,
you better.
If you don't let him buy a ball python,
swear to God.
I swear I'm coming there and I am going to. I don't know what I'm going to do. Actually,
can you make chocolate chip pancakes?
Do you like pancakes?
Yeah. Maybe she's lactose intolerant. We can make milk pancakes.
I will make you eat ice cream.
Yeah,
I will make you eat ice cream.
I don't know who that's more torture for, though, her or the husband. That's a lot of smellies.
So, but Julia, seriously, you need to do it.
Yeah, stop being silly.
He might get rid of you.
Yeah, dude. It's that close. I
mean, you choose between a ball python and a
husband.
It's a tough one, It's a tough one.
Liam says, "What's up, Brian and Jay? Can you talk about Pacman frog care? I want to get one. Thanks."
Yeah, Pacmans are cool. So the thing you got to remember about Pacman frogs are that they're primarily you want to feed them bugs. Right, the mistake a lot of people make is rodents and stuff
because
like
it's cool to see.
Cool that we'll feed them a rodent and they grow so big and they're so amazing. But the fact is that what you really want to do is feed them mainly worms, bugs, that type of stuff, and then supplement every now and then with stuff. So as babies, just feed them crickets, roaches, worms, stuff like that. And then as it gets bigger, the occasional maybe every 4 or 6 weeks you can throw a rodent in there or something like that.
Right.
But other than that, they're really pretty easy animals. As long as you'll kill them if you feed them rodents.
Right, exactly. Wild Boy Dev, our boy.
Dev was up.
He says, made it down before the live was over. Taco had a burrito, wanting to take a swim with salt and pepper. Random, who's your hero?
Who's my hero? Let's see. Gosh, that's
Mother
a tough
Teresa.
one. Yeah, right. So there's different levels of heroes, I suppose. In a lot of ways, Lori's my hero, because she's, she's went through a lot with me, right? And she stuck by me and she inspires me daily. I've said this and people, don't believe this when I say this, but I think Lori's the best person I've ever met. And it's hard to believe that because she seems so gruff and so whatever, but her morals are unbelievable compared to anyone I've ever met in my life. I mean, she's unwavering with what she believes. So I think that's big. And then, you know, from a professional standpoint, you know, there's different heroes. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, from an animal side, you look at Steve Irwin, you look at David Attenborough. From a business standpoint, I'm a big, you know, Steve Jobs / Elon Musk guy. From a guru standpoint, you know, Sadi Guru. Yeah, Sadi Guru. You know,
multifaceted.
You know, yeah, I mean, it goes on and on, you know.
Yeah,
so I don't have one hero. I wish I did have one hero, you know. I mean, I wish that my dad was my hero. I wish, you know, but that wasn't going to happen, you know.
Yeah, same. I agree. Sierra says, first time ever catching you live. I work 2 jobs and am only off on Sundays, so I'm glad I turned on my notifications. Hello from Walgreens in Texas.
Walgreens.
I had to read it for a second. I'm like, she's not saying Walgreens, is she?
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you
calling
called
your
us
manager,
live, and I appreciate it. And I hope you have a little break. 2 jobs is tough. I just have one
32.
really crazy job.
Yeah. Judge Venom says, just wanted to ask about the snakes you used to breed Lucy with. Lucy and snakes that ate 2 or 3 males. What?
Well, I know we had the Cal King last year that ate a couple.
Yeah,
of
we had.
that was Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
And yeah, we still have a couple of snakes that we bred, like Titan and stuff like that. We still have them. But yeah, it just won't be breeding Lucy anymore. But yeah, and then as far as Baskin, I don't know if she's going to get bred this year because she ate 2 males last year. So I don't know. That'll be up to Lori. That she's got to make that decision, I think, this coming week.
Okay. Maria said, since Brother Clint always throws supers, what are the chances of a collaboration? I don't know if Jay pointed out that the last message was for Brother Clint, and I did, Maria. But
what do you think she means by the collaboration?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm always
I mean, we're down. We'll go play with turtles out there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
But yeah, we're down.
We're always down for collaboration.
So that's it for supers now.
So
do you want me to?
Yeah, do you want to have David come in?
I got you.
So David is going to come in here in a second, and he's going to sit down. David is, we'll learn more about David as we go. I know a little bit about him, but we're going to learn together. So Jay will bring David in. Again, he reached out to me a couple weeks ago about a potential project that he wanted to do, and so he's decided to come on. So welcome in, David. How are you? Sit down. Thanks, man. How are you doing? Throw your headphones on there, buddy.
It's been a while since I've done a podcast.
Yeah, so throw that mic up by there. There you go.
Part of it.
Oh, welcome, David. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. Sorry, when David came, I was in a complete tizzy because life was, I mean, it's crazy at the Reptarium. Had issues going on. Do you know that the gator tank's still alive, or do you know?
I have. I actually went back to check in at the hotel.
Okay,
came back. Yeah, my wife wanted to take a little bit of a nap.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no worries at all. So
I can try to take a look at some things when we're done, but
yeah, no. I just didn't know if you were up there.
I would assume that if we didn't hear screaming and yelling,
there's
we
no
probably
water running anywhere.
And so Luna, we're going to get to you in a second, and super chats. We'll still get to you guys in super chats and stuff like that here shortly. You know, David is well. First off, tell me a little bit about. I mean, I know you reached out to me because you do some paranormal stuff and so on like that, and we talked about maybe doing some projects together. But what's your thing? Tell me what your thing is all about.
I got a whole lot of things. Basically, back in like 2009, 2010 is when I really started to dive into the paranormal.
Okay.
Been interested in it since I was a kid. My sister and I had very similar experiences in the house that we grew up in.
Oh, gotcha.
Which kind of kickstarted that. So that sent me to the libraries. That sent me up to my dial-up internet to go look for some things.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think it was about mid-2010, I started a team down in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
And that went until about 2012. Then we started a radio show back then, just paranormal-themed radio show. And then I actually got on board with a group called Resident Undead, who you can find on YouTube here.
Yeah.
I enjoy the content of not being biased or anything. But
right.
But we travel all over the place. We film. It's such a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, I'll make sure to put a link in the description to your guys' stuff. And you reached out because you were thinking about maybe doing a project together potentially down the road here, maybe this summer.
Yeah, hopefully. We just started within the last 2 years. We started the RU Media Network, which is basically our way of giving more people an opportunity to get their creativeness out when it comes to the paranormal world. We like to consider ourselves like part of the underground, I guess, of the paranormal, not the mainstream, but we like to let whoever wants to come in. Granted, you have to kind of screen the content that comes in sometimes. But, we just wanted a place for everybody to be able to come and enjoy the paranormal stuff. So we started that, which is leading to all these different projects. Myself and my friend Eric McGill, we are on the film crew for Resident Undead, but we actually started a spinoff from Resident Undead called Our Haunted Minds. First episode of that is up also on YouTube.
Nice.
And I don't know if I can say anything about this yet or not, but we've got a few things in mind for a possible streaming service in the future.
Oh, okay, well, good.
We've seen a lot of people kind of delving into that, so I think we've got enough content, and we're planning enough new content that we can really start filling that up. And
that's cool.
Next year
well,
so
anyone that knows me, and feel free, guys. You can in super chats. You can ask David any questions about paranormal, as well as we can still talk about snake stuff. So feel free to super chat either way. We'll catch you guys. And everyone knows that I've been interested in the paranormal for really my whole life, much like you. Since childhood, having experiences and stuff like that. And I'm kind of into all of it. I'm into not only the paranormal ghost side of it. I'm into the UFO side. I'm into cryptozoology. I'm into kind of anything that is would be paranormal. That's the typical.
And that's exactly why I wanted to reach out to you when we had this idea for this project, because I watch the podcast. Obviously, I watch the vlogs all the time. I did hear going back. I hear someone say trying to get you to convince their wife to buy them.
Yeah, ball like that. Yeah.
My wife's sitting back in the VIP room right now. Hopefully she can hear me, but maybe some more reptiles are in my future. But anyway,
get rid of her. You can get rid of her. That's what I say. That's always the topic. Yeah, you either let her have more or get rid of them. No, but it's So like I said, it's pretty neat. Let's hit just a couple things to catch up and see if we're. I know Luna said.
Luna says, "Hi Brian, how many tattoos do you have, and do they have any special meaning? Also, tell Drogo hi. Hopefully, I spelled that right."
You did spell it right. And I will tell him hi. And I don't know how many tattoos I have, to be totally honest with you.
It's a hard question.
Sure. I'll have to count them, to be honest with you. I know I should know that.
I don't know it either.
But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think the reason why I don't know is because it's still a work in progress, right? Like, so I was planning on having my other arm in my chest done really by early, like last year. COVID kind of killed that whole thing. So hopefully by fall I can get back to the project, get my left arm. So the right arm is all animals from Africa onto my chest, on my shoulder, everything like that. The left arm is started Australian animals. And then I started on my leg, Reptarium animals. I just have Bella on my leg. But I want to do Elvis. I want to do all kinds of other stuff. So, and I want my whole body to be animals and stuff. So yeah, they do have meaning to me. Yeah.
And then Berm Donor Python says the green tree is a neonate farm-bred animal. Yep. It took its first meal in my care the day after I set it up. Is there anything I can do for a test treatment at this size for parasites? And then also asks, is it quarantine time?
Yeah, quarantine time is definitely going to be 90 days to 6 months. And the farmed animals certainly are much, much better out of Indonesia. They typically do pretty well. The farms there, I have friends that have some farms in Indo, and they're usually pretty good. Banji is a farm that I've known for a long time, as well as Bushmaster's farm as well is really good down there. So, and people don't realize this, but green trees are illegal to own in Indonesia, even though that's where they're from. And it's like a jailable offense to own them.
Wow.
So there's only, I think, 2, maybe 3 farms have permits to keep and breed green tree pythons in all of Indonesia. So when you get a captive, we were talking about wild caught stuff and stuff like that. Captive is pretty good. Wild caught is no good. Wild caught green trees do horrible. But now I don't think they're even allowed to ship wild caught. I think it's 100%. You have to. So for a long time they would use their quota and send wild-caught animals. And now I think that they've gotten so strict in Indonesia that they have to show the eggs that they hatched out of to get the permits to export. So usually you're in pretty good shape. But quarantine it. As far as treatment, nothing. If it's eating, just keep an eye on it. Don't worry about it from there.
Amber says, okay, so I need a ghost to haunt my place. How do I make this happen? Super curious.
I think a Ouija board, maybe. I don't know.
Ouija board or the right psychic might be able to help you. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think that is the case? Like that we open up like the door or portals or whatever you want to, or is that just a little hooey?
I think there are some times when, especially like in our situation, we go to so many different places. I think you're often opening yourself up to some kind of an attachment,
right?
To follow you back home, to follow
sure.
you wherever. I think you definitely invite a little bit more of that when you bring in things like a Ouija board or whatever else. But most of the time, we like to just wrap up our session just by saying, this was fun. Stay here.
Yeah, leave us alone. Don't follow us home.
Can't come home with us. But
can't come home with you.
I wouldn't suggest wanting one.
Yeah. I would love to hear the story behind.
She's trying to spice up her life a little bit.
Yeah,
spice it up.
Well, I mean, either that or I have heard, Jay, that every now and then there's that sexual thing that happens.
Oh,
with,
the poltergeist,
ghosts,
right? Isn't that
like
what it is?
Like
succubus or something? Yeah.
Oh, succubus, exactly. Maybe Amber's looking to spice up some
suckies.
Get
some suckies
in the years
house.
of doing this, I've heard some weird stories. Trust me.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. So there you go, Amber. If you want a succubus, we got you.
The Wild Boy Dev came back and says, that's awesome. We have a ghost at my job that we named Claire.
Wow.
We've heard her talk a few times.
Isn't that wild? That's wild, huh? There's a lot of like bars and restaurants and hotels and stuff like that seem to have, I think because of the energy that are in those places that are, it brings
Call
back
alcohol spirits, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's and I love the stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Paranormal Caught on Tape. I'm sure you know the show. A lot of that's bullshit. But there are some that come through that are pretty interesting. The reason I know a lot of it is BS too, is that there's been friends of mine that I know fake things for YouTube that have gotten onto Paranormal Caught on Tape. And it's like, I know that's fake because they've told me it's fake. So you think they maybe vetted a little bit better?
You would hope. When it comes to something,
but I think it's just
TV,
entertainment anyways. You know what I mean? They don't give a crap. They just want to.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can realistically trust when it comes to national television. Yeah, when it comes to the ghost type stuff, really much of any of it. It's the almighty rating, Once you've been around for 10 plus years, it's you got to keep finding things to.
Yeah, if you don't catch something, you're not going to keep a show. You know what I mean? And I know. That the backstory of some of the teams and how some of the team members have left because they started being like they wanted to be serious, and then they realize it's so produced and so it's like we joke around with like, I like Ghost Adventures, I like Zach Bagans and the crew because I think it's entertainment, but I find it more humorous than actual reality, and I find it really interesting when they start we've spent time to gain credibility to blah. I'm thinking like I guarantee you any real paranormal person thinks that you're an absolute joke, because they could find a demon in a plastic bag.
Yeah, and that's where my drawback, like way back when Ghost Adventures first started, obviously the original documentary.
The original doc was awesome. Yeah, Nevada was awesome.
And that's what Travel, decided they wanted them from.
And actually, that show actually aired on Sci-Fi before Travel.
Mm-hmm.
The actual documentary aired on Sci-Fi, and then Travel picked up the documentary and series. Yeah.
Yep. And I don't remember if that had much to do with the Ghost Hunter series or not. I don't remember if they were on Sci-Fi back then or not.
No, Sci-Fi was Ghost Hunters was on probably. So there was like Paranormal State, Ghost Hunters, and Ghost Adventures were the three shows, and they were all around the same time, you know. But I think maybe Ghost Adventures might have been first, possibly, or maybe I don't know.
I think they might have been second. I think Ghost Hunters started around 2004.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Ghost Hunters might be older.
The Ghost Adventures documentary, I think, dropped in 2007.
Oh, okay. So so it was a few years later. Okay, got you.
And that's what really started getting me in. Like, I'm seeing this stuff, and I'm in high school, and I'm like, wait, you mean you can go out and look for this stuff?
Yeah.
And it took me 3 more years to even get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you remember the Paranormal State? That was Penn State's team. I really liked that show because it seemed like it was pretty serious. Kind of like maybe like what you're doing, like a small group of people that are like really just have an interest and aren't doing it for anything other than just to do it.
Yeah, like with Resident Undead, we've got the 4 team members, and then Eric and myself, and occasionally some others, just to help with the production side of it. But when you've got the smaller numbers, you can get super intimate with your experiments and with everything you're trying to do. So it comes out a little bit better, and you try not to sensationalize anything. Obviously, if something smacks a wall, you're going.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be whatever, but there's some good ones. There's no doubt about it. I mean, but I think again, ghost hunters and the original ghost hunters, they were almost debunking most of the haunts. Yeah, and then it turned into where everything was haunted. And I think that was a little bit of a disappointment. And I think that's ultimately why. What was it? Grant, is it still on Ghost Hunters, or what? Now it's called Ghost.
Grant. They brought back Grant, and he brought in just a brand new team of people for the reboot of Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunter, and then there's something State. What's it called? Where Jason Hawes is still on it.
It's Ghost Nation.
Ghost Nation, yeah. Yep. So Ghost Nation is the kind of now phony one that is they catch ghosts every time, and I think that the Grant one, that reboot of Ghost Hunters, I don't know if that's done.
Yeah, I think it is done.
I think it was
a few
because
of them came out and said that A&E was kind of pulling.
Yeah, A&E was pulling because they didn't find enough stuff to keep people excited.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We kind of got some in and outs with some of these shows, so I can talk to you about after the podcast. But a lot of the stuff on TV, purely for entertainment by this point.
Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it really is. So what do we got here? V-Dog's back.
V-Dog says, when my ex-boyfriend passed away, I hadn't thought of him in years. All of a sudden, I was thinking of him and checked his Facebook page to find that he had passed away and his funeral was the next day. Wow. Could he have reached me?
Well, it's an interesting thing, I mean, it's certainly it's possible, I mean, that's weird that you would think, and it's an interesting coincidence. But I also think that there's energies in the universe, right? I mean, that's the thing that's interesting, right, about ghosts. Are they really humans from the past? Are they a parallel dimension? Is it just energy?
Left over from a moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's that residual haunts.
We even talk about at times with ghosts and spirits, or even things like Bigfoot or Nessie or things like that. We talk about the idea of possibly like a time slip, where there's this momentary blip to where the timelines merge or something, and then this creature's here that's not supposed to be here, and then they're just gone.
Right.
So that's kind of an idea that we talk about sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that idea talked about with Bigfoot. Seems weird to me, that they're interdimensional, but who knows? God. I mean, this is what I say when people say, "Do you believe in Bigfoot?" My response is always, I want to believe in Bigfoot.
Exactly, yeah. But I want to believe.
I want to believe, but it seems very unlikely to me that there's a bipedal hominid that is running around Washington State.
Yeah, hide and seek champion,
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Hide and seek champion, with in this world. And I think Elon Musk, really kind of almost broke my heart a little bit when he was on the Rogans. He had said that, with UFOs, which I'm a big believer in UFOs. Jay, not so much. But number one, I will say that Elon maybe was the first person that made me rethink my dedication to UFOs. And the reason I say that is he said, if there's any person on the planet who would probably know, it'd probably be me, right? I mean, he runs SpaceX, and I don't think he would hide it. He doesn't.
No, he don't give a damn, dude. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I've been hanging out with these aliens, playing poker."
Yeah, and it seems weird that if he doesn't know about them with all his resources in SpaceX, that makes me feel like maybe they aren't aliens. But that being said, it's like he said, if you could even just get any photo that's better than an iPhone 1. That would be nice.
That's what I've been
true.
Saying that.
But at the same time, there have been some interesting things out of the military recently that seem a little bit. But maybe it's just advanced
technology from China,
yeah.
and they don't know about
exactly.
it.
Yep.
Berm Donor says, thanks, Brian, for the info. I'm going to check out and go set up my new rack for my juvenile berms, but I'll still be listening. Have a good night, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, dude.
Brandon says, hello from New Jersey. Brian, do you have any, does it say 18-inch ball pythons or 2018 ball pythons? I didn't see the apostrophe. Sorry. Available through BHB. I'm about to order some snakes. Oh, but Southern boy. So I'm about to order some snake.
I don't think I have any 2018s. I know I don't have any 2018s. If we do downsize here shortly, we'll have some older animals available. But right now we just have 2020s. That's all we have. I think we might have a couple 2019s, but that would be the oldest animals. Yeah.
Jack says, here's a question you haven't gotten. How did you become so handy? I'm a carpenter and enjoy watching you build things for the animals. I do the same.
Well, thank you. And as
So
a,
true.
if a carpenter thinks I'm handy, I take that as a huge compliment because I don't know how handy I am. I'd say I'm more fearless about.
That's
building,
a great way
you
to
know?
put it, because that's why I'm not handy, is because I'm so scared to fuck shit up that like.
Yeah, like I don't really ever go into any project worrying about I'll figure it out. You know?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it's interesting. I was always into like wood shop and building and putting things together, and I was just always into that, like big time. I wanted to know how to do it, and I think that a lot of build projects are literally just the fact of like being willing to do it, not necessarily knowing how to do it, but just being willing to do it. And so I tell people all the time I built my house. And when I say built my house, I built my house. I didn't pay someone to build my house. And I always tell people I didn't know how little I knew about building a house until I built a house. And I literally, oftentimes, I've told this story. I put a fireplace in my house, and not a direct vent, but an actual wood burning fireplace, or both. It could be either wood burning or gas, depending on the mechanism. And I remember buying the fireplace and the flute and all this stuff like that, and didn't know how to put a fucking fireplace in. I had no idea. So I just like got it, and I was like, okay, I guess I got to go to the fireplace place and ask them how to put this in my house, And I just learned how to frame it out the right way, and just through talking to people. I said I spend almost every morning at Home Depot, talking to the experts every day for months, and so yeah, I love building stuff. I love creating things, whether it's businesses, physical things, like the build out of this basement has been so much fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been fun, and we're getting to the end. We got the New Caledonia room is the last thing. Today we got the electricity put in the New Caledonia room, so now it's
They put it in there?
Yeah, the electricity's
Heck
in.
yeah,
It's
dude.
done.
We
Yeah,
can paint now.
Yep, we can paint now. We can put the floor in now, and we can start building racks for the cages. So, so we're literally rocking and rolling. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Scottish Rob asks thoughts on 4-dimensional plus entities being what is mistaken about ghosts or demons.
I haven't heard that until right now.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So a lot of people believe that demons or ghosts aren't spirits of some other person, that it's actually interdimensional beings that exist in 5D, 6D that we can't comprehend, breaking into our realm momentarily.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable.
I think it's probably, I think it sounds just as reasonable.
We know. The one thing so let's put it this way. We don't know if there's life after death.
Right.
We don't.
We'll know when we die.
We really don't know, but we do know there are more dimensions than 3 dimensions.
And we can't comprehend them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we know that they're there. I mean, from just physics, there are multiverses. It may be more probable that there are interdimensional paranormal experiences than actual life after death. I mean, I think the hard part about life after death, and I've watched, as a matter of fact, there's a really good show on Netflix that is about life after death. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
Oh, it's a good show. You should watch it. And it's very interesting because, either there is something to life after death, or it's just some chemical in our brain that as we die, that chemical...
Dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, dimethyltryptamine. And that basic chemical helps us with the transition of death,
Yep.
right?
Okay, yeah.
To not be scared
So
of
that every person is basically experiencing the white light, the family members, the this and that. The only thing that I remember years ago, and I don't know if anyone else has ever done this, but years ago there was a hospital that had obviously most hospital ERs have a high death rate, right? And they had a lot of people that were dying and coming back to life and over the course of the years. And the surgeon who worked in ER actually put things on top of like cabinets and on top of things where people would say they float away from their body. And he wanted to put signs where people could read them. And so when they came back, did they see any of these signs? And he said over like a 10-year period, not one person had ever seen, even the people that came back and said, oh, I floated to the top of the room and I could see my body. He said, did you see any of the stuff that I put on top?
Yeah, exactly.
And not one person did. So that does make you think, like, is there life? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
Is
know.
there life
what
before
we're here
life?
for. It's like,
Right?
if we're gonna figure it out, we might as well just keep pushing forward and hopefully one day we hit the jackpot to figure out what exactly.
Yeah, I just wonder if you ever will, or is there any possibility?
I don't know that we will in our lifetime.
Or is there like a barrier, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's
like I said, is there life before life? We talk about life after death, but what about life before life? Mm-hmm. Before you were the two genes that put you together, you weren't a person. You didn't exist somewhere. Your personality came from those genes mixing with your unique life experience.
Right.
And then you die and you think that you go somewhere, but where were you before?
Right.
That's my thing.
Well, then you could get into past lives and all that
past
fun
lives.
stuff,
I mean, that's
so,
what obviously Buddhism and stuff like that, and a lot of a lot of religions believe that you live multiple lives. You live it until you get it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Each time, and I think if I let me go out on a limb.
Yeah.
I think that if I were to live life to get to my perfect life, I'd say I'm 40% there.
Oh, that's nice.
40%. Okay. So I have 60% more lives to live before I can live my perfect life.
Yeah. So if you lived 40 already, you would need to live 60 more.
I'd need to live 60 more to get to where to be
nirvana,
which I think is pretty good. But it also means I have a long way to go.
But you know what's funny though?
Long way to
go. In the spectrum of human life, you're about halfway, right?
Yeah.
And also, you're about halfway with the 40 to 60%, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you've lived this part of your life and you've gained all the knowledge to be a person that's 50% put together, right?
Yeah, 50% put together.
You know what I mean? Like you still have stuff to learn and gratitude and all that shit,
I agree with you. I do. I gratitude. Now, I know you were talking about one of the projects that we'd love to maybe work on is a little bit more. Would you call it crypto or would you call it like?
I would call it a hodgepodge, realistically.
Hodgepodge. Okay.
Okay. Basically, the idea is to kind of step away from the norm, which is the ghost hunting. Mm-hmm. I'd still like to visit some places that I think are relevant, but a lot of it we're going to try to focus on like the folklore and legends from state to state.
Mothman prophecy.
I'd like to start in the state of Ohio just because that's
so. What's the state of Ohio? Which ones are the good ones?
The first one we're looking at is South Bay Bessie. Basically the Lake Erie monster.
Oh, okay, yeah, so yep.
That could be a very nice mix between Ohio and Michigan, also.
Yeah,
and then the Dogman, obviously the Michigan.
Oh, yeah, Dogman. Of
course.
There've
been some sightings of it down in Ohio as well.
Okay.
So those are the two I think that I'd like to start with.
Okay, gotcha.
But then you've got like the Loveland Frogman. You've got melon heads, I think they call it, up in Northeast Ohio.
Wow.
There was some kind of a alien entity possibly over around Cleveland that had big, bright, glowing orange eyes. I forget what that one was called.
Wow.
Puckwudgies, just all kinds of crazy stuff.
Jeez, things I haven't even heard of yet.
I'm
excited. Tight.
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it, is to go out and look for these things. Like everybody looks for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And obviously Ohio's got the Grassman down in southeastern Ohio, so that's kind of a Bigfoot thing. Which we can touch on, but there's just so much more I think that people aren't thinking about.
Yeah.
And then obviously UFO phenomenon. There's a lot of different things that have happened across the state, which I've had a couple experiences I can tell you about, Jay. But it's just a nice mix of things. I would like to take you guys to a friend of mine who's the leader of Resident Undead actually owns 2 haunted properties.
Oh, nice.
One of them is in Madison, Ohio.
Nice.
Called the Madison Seminary.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the other one is down in Lancaster, Ohio. It's called the Fairfield County Infirmary.
Oh, wow.
And
both
are fantastic.
That's
just to even walk in. As soon as you walk in the doors, especially at the infirmary.
Yeah.
I go down there and mow grass and whatever else, and even just being on the property, you get goosebumps and everything else. And that's the one that I really want to take you guys to, because there's a cemetery on the property. That only has, I think, 4 or 5 markers. Mm-hmm. But there are anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 bodies.
Oh my gosh!
On the property.
Wow, that's badass.
So we can't dig anywhere.
No. Yeah,
because we just don't know where they are.
Yeah.
There was a real estate company that had come in before the previous owners or Adam. That were going to redevelop everything. They were going to bulldoze everything and redevelop it into something else. But they
brought
like
the movie Poltergeist.
Yeah. They brought in ground penetrating radar just because they knew there was a cemetery,
right?
But they didn't know the extent of it. Well, when they did the ground penetrating radar, they discovered way more bodies than they originally thought, and well outside of the actual marked cemetery.
Wow.
And they're in trenches.
Oh my gosh.
And the ground penetrating radar only shows little dots essentially, because they're all stood upright.
Oh my gosh.
They're upright and in a single file line.
Wow.
And that's how they're buried.
Wow.
So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we've got
the
one monument that is in
Let's
honor
go.
of our dead or something like that. That basically was like, well, there's too many of them for us to
make stones
worry about,
for.
so
Yeah.
This one.
Wow, that's awesome. No, I would love to go. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm 100% game.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, gosh, that could be fun. Noah would love it.
No
too.
matter what, I'd have a blast filming any of this stuff.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that'd be so cool. Can you imagine the drone shots and
Oh my
get
God.
that whirl out? You know?
Dude, yeah, spinning across the cemetery.
Definitely great buildings for drones. We do that all the time.
Love it,
Oh my
dude.
gosh, can
We
you
even take
imagine?
them inside when we feel like it, which is probably not the best thing to do.
No, that's great.
Yeah, well, we have a cool little toy called a whirl that you can like do
Drone
wired-
maneuverments,
yeah.
but
okay,
inside,
yeah,
yeah.
it's super cool. So that's awesome. What do we got here?
Scottish Rob says string theory puts reality at 10-ish dimensions plus time. So imagine shapes that are made up of 4 separate 3D shapes.
Yep.
And it's a little more, even more complicated than that. It's like, so you think of like a line, you put a line at each of its vertices, you make a square, right?
Yep.
You take a square, put a square at each of its vertices, you get a cube.
Yep.
And then in the 4th dimension, it would be, you put cubes at each of its vertices at right angles, and you would make a tesseract, which is a 4-dimensional cube.
Yep.
So up to 11 dimensions, that's crazy. I can't even think about what
it's
that's
pretty
like.
crazy how that goes. Yeah, it really is. And like you said, that's what string theory is all about.
Decoherence.
And again, this is all,
Theories
at this point, but there's a lot of science behind it.
So we can't figure out the answers to life right now, right? We don't have a one theory fits all for gravity and electromagnetism, and the mathematics works better in 11 dimensions than in 3.
Yeah.
That's why they know.
Yeah, I mean, quantum physics is probably one of the most interesting, sciences, because it is pretty much all theory with. We're proving it slowly, but it's I'm very obsessed.
It's very
with,
metaphysical.
Yeah, he's very very obsessed with that. So, and that could be. I think that quantum physics could explain a lot of the paranormal for sure.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean again, brother Clint was a great guest when we talked about demons and all those things that are, who knows what that's all about.
Yeah, for sure. They're talking about birthdays in the chat. So Hannah says Leo gang, and I'm also Leo.
Gang.
So gang, Hannah,
Gang,
love
gang,
you.
gang.
And that's it right now.
Oh my gosh,
baby.
well, that's cool. So listen, I think that we're gonna have some chats and stuff like that. It's nice to have you up and to see the place and get a chance to meet you in person and talk about some fun stuff. And this summer I'd love to get deeper into this, and I think we can have a lot of fun. And
sure.
you guys know I'm passionate about that it just as much as anything, and so it'll be a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it then.
That's
Jay,
it, baby.
Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you. Again, we'll talk in a minute here, David. So I appreciate it. By the way, I'll put all his links in the description, so you go show him some love. Tell him I sent you.
That's right.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you beyond belief. We will be back this Wednesday with the podcast. I know we missed last Wednesday because we were out of town. Again, Fridays and Saturdays as well. So, you guys have a great night. Thank you for all your support.
Much love.
All your super chat. Much love. And I will see you guys later. Good night, guys. Yeah, so thanks so much.